Perfect. Salute, and welcome back to the Black Ocean. Now swimming in the deep end with your host, the one and only Great Black Shark. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and happy Areta season to you. Happy holidays, whatever it is that you're enjoying in as far as the upcoming celebration holiday season time. I hope that you're enjoying it safely with your families. We're reaching the close of 2023. Let's hope 2024 ain't out of here yet. We hadn't got there yet. We're reaching the close of 2023 and I'm preparing to go into 2024. So I want to make sure that those of you under the sound of my voice make it into 2024 alive, healthy, happy, and safe. Please be careful. There's a lot of idiot drunk drivers out there trying to win the gold medal in the stupid Olympics. So be very careful. Do your traveling mostly in the earlier hours. Try to be stationary out on these highways and byways at night. Okay. But family, I know you're wondering why in the hell do I have this picture of this white serpent up here on your screen, probably scaring some of you people half to death that do not like snakes. I apologize in advance. I know that is a very demonic looking entity because we have to dissect and analyze a demonic looking entity called a white supremacist, a neo-Nazi white supremacist separatist that attempted to go toe to toe with our good brother Tariq Nasheed, and he gave his ass that work. But I want to study this particular exchange because there's a lot to be learned from it. It was held on one of his Twitter spaces. And salute to the sister AH for the Cash App. Thank you very much. People showing love to the Cash App already. I appreciate it very much. We have to study this because, see, family, let me tell you something. One of the great things about the time period that we're in at the hour of our history, okay, as foundational Black American freedmen, okay, in this country, or even if you're an on-code Black immigrant in this country, we're reaching a time period now where we see many advancements in technology. We've seen that, media has come a long way and it's being used for both good propaganda and bad propaganda. OK, and we have come into our own as a people in it as a way to counter that false propaganda or the bad propaganda as people over here of this lineage in new Black media spaces. OK, and every one of you is capable of being a journalist if you have any type of device that records audio and sound. In fact, many of you have helped those of us in new Black media to find out a great number of things that we would not be able to report on because we're not in your particular area. We can't catch every single thing. And look, I'm going to encourage some of you in this fashion also. Even if some of us don't get to some of the things that, you're aware of, then, hey, that means that it's probably your job to get out there and cover those things. OK, everybody can do something. You don't have to be the most eloquent speaker. You don't have to be the most well-read, well-studied person. You just have to be at least duly informed and have integrity behind you of what you're trying to report on. Okay. But see, back to these white supremacists, let me tell you something. One of the things that I love about where we're headed, everybody's putting their cards on the table, okay? We got the coons, they're stepping up, saying it with their chest, or shall we say their little striped tails. Okay, that's good. I want that to happen. We got the white supremacists stepping up. They putting their chests out there and saying what it is, okay? Well, on both political sides, okay? The left side, the right side. I like that. That's what we need. And those of us who are real, rock solid, on code, black first, we've been on what we're about, okay? So I'm glad that they finally decided to catch up to us in that regard, because see, some people, when you hear someone telling you the truth about how they really feel about you, I'm not talking about the soft stuff where they smiling in your face and they got a knife behind their back. No. You need people to come on out and let you know what the business is, okay? That's one of the great things about being down here in the South. There's no confusion unless you choose to be confused, okay? And many other parts of the country, it's not so much like that. You know, it's a lot of sugarcoating going on. Listen, I prefer it out in the open. These rednecks know where they stand with us. We know where we stand with them. The lines are clearly drawn down here, okay? But what's starting to spread to the rest of the country, though, is in certain places, they're coming on out. And I like it because, see, when you can see a serpent, okay, like the one on the screen that you're looking at, I know it's a terrifying image, but I've got this evil image up here for a reason, because I want you to have this in your mind as we review what we're going to discuss here tonight. When you can see a serpent in an open field instead of high grass, that's better for you. You have the advantage, okay? See, one of the things that the Democratic Party in particular has been doing, they've been trying to use Trump as a boogeyman. Okay, Trump. The Republicans, Trump. I'm like, listen, both of you are snakes. Both sides. There's no one better than the other. There's no lesser of two evils. Both of you are evil. So when either side tries to call out the other and use a scare tactic, what we in New Black Media want to encourage our people to do is, you do not be moved by fear. This is very important for those of us who are foundational Black American freedmen men. Why? Because we are the leaders, builders, and protectors. The women and the children look to us for guidance, okay? And I say this to you sisters as well. You do not be moved by fear, because see, let me tell you something. A lot of people probably tend to think that I'm condescending towards the sisters. No, I'm not. I'm just realistic about what I see. So here's the encouragement that I have for you sisters. You play a very important role in our society. Why? Because they look at you as the weaker vessels that can be preyed upon, easily swayed, and made afraid. Do not operate off of fear. Operate off of what you know, what you can confirm, and what's in your best interest, okay? When somebody's trying to scare you, you're going to make reckless decisions if you make decisions based off of fear, okay? Now, a healthy fear can be a protection. For example, if you're a pipe fitter or a welder or something like that, and you're working with an acetylene torch, okay, you got a healthy respect for what that flame could do to you if you're reckless with it. You handling electricity, that's a healthy fear. An unhealthy fear, ladies, in particular, because a lot of you were, oh my God, Trump. I'm like, listen, all of you listen to me right here. We survived Trump, okay? We survived Trump. He didn't do anything that we did not survive. And if we're going to start looking at things from a realistic standpoint, this is what Black men and Black women over here have to do. Forget the gender warring. Let's come together on business, the business of empowerment for our people. Let's start looking at policy and numbers. Any idiot that's with the gender warring, we leave them to the wayside. They're going to get chewed up and spat out, because at the end of the day, all these other anti-Black groups, they are lockstep united against our Black asses. We can't afford to go into battle as half a unit. We need both units operating at full capacity to the best of their ability in their given spaces and roles, okay? So for you sisters, always start looking at policy and numbers, seeing how, okay, if they told you one thing in either political party, but we're primarily talking about Democrats since they're in power right now. You all know I'm neither liberal nor conservative. I'm just breaking down the facts as they are. You start looking at, okay, what you saying, Democrats, is not matching up with what you're supposed to be doing. So the next time that you come back asking me for something, you can't get something from me for free. Voting is supposed to be a business transaction. If there's nothing in it for you, then they shouldn't get your vote, okay? It's just that simple. I keep telling y'all, if you're not going to work for free, don't vote for free either. Now, when it comes to the fear tactics, all right, and I'm not beating up on the ladies because, look, women are women. We are programmed to view the world a different way. They're going to respond to certain things a different way. Here's where you can crush anybody that tries to manipulate you with a fear tactic. The first thing you do is start asking logical questions. When somebody keeps trying to repeat something over and over and over and over and over again to you without having to answer questions, that person is someone you cannot trust. The only stupid question is the one that you do not ask. You understand? And when somebody starts to get hostile at you asking questions, that should be the light bulb that goes off, or the red flag, so to speak, that lets you know that, okay, wait a minute. Something's not on the up and up with what this person is telling me. Now, here's the other half of that goes along with us being an empowered community. Instead of them trying to steer you away from black men who are on code that are worth a damn, I'm not talking about the dusty guys, so don't put them in the same category with upstanding black men. I have to say that because a lot of people tend to try to do that. What you do is you go and confer with the brothers and say, hey, listen, they came to me talking about the woo XYZ policy. Didn't mention nothing for the black community as a whole. They were just talking about me and mine. Okay, if you got sons, nephews, cousins that are male, then you know that's no good because there are two halves to our community. So you confer with the brothers and we operate at our best when we can recognize the threat together. This on this snake right here, this snake, this represents both political parties. Why? Because both of them are controlled by who? The alabaster class. That's right. And I'm going to tell you, just like my great-grandfather told my grandfather and my father, if they thin, pale lips are moving, they lying. You better double, triple, quadruple check everything they saying to you. You understand? Because this is what you're looking at on your screen here. When you look at them, a silver-tongued serpent. And they're good at getting our women to go against the men and trying to elevate them above them. But see, here's the thing, ladies. That leaves you vulnerable because every other group, they got their men to depend on. See, they try to lead you into a state where you're out there by yourself and they know they're not going to help you because they got to take care of their women first. They're not going to put you over their women. Okay? So that's the part you got to remember. Think back to the pandemic. Everybody should have learned a lesson from that. All the I don't need a man stuff. Yeah, okay. How did that work out for the people when that hit? Because see, you always need to think in terms of being prepared and ready. So I try to encourage the sisters to make the wise decisions, work with the on code civilized brothers, all right? And that way you're not left out here without any protection because your protection is only going to come from within your own group, okay? So now, when we start looking at how the white supremacists want to engineer things to go in the future, the more chaos that you can cause amongst a particular people, the easier it is to conquer that given group of people. You understand? So tonight, as we get ready to listen to this white supremacist, you're going to hear a lot of deflection. I mean, Tariq is excellent at breaking them down and making them expose themselves. But I got to review this and come back and look at a couple more things because I think I caught this Twitter space, but a lot of times when I catch my brother's spaces, when they pop up, either I'm busy multitasking or sometimes I might miss them. Shout out to the good sister D Tubman. Please, everybody, send our sister well wishes. She's recovering from the flu, as last I understood. So please send your well wishes to our good sister D Tubman. Okay. So tonight, family, I know a lot of y'all like, please get this horrific image of this damn snake off the screen. We gonna get him off of there. We gonna get him off of there. Salute to the good brother Robert Harris for the cash out. Thank you very much. We finna go ahead and get the serpent off of there, but we gotta put a serpent in your ears, ladies and gentlemen, because see, let me tell you something. If you're over on my Patreon, and Brother Tariq has mentioned this, I mentioned it for years, a lot of us have. I need you to go over there and make sure you dissect and study, even if you don't get it from my Patreon, wherever you get it from, study FM6 2003. A lot of you, if you don't know what that is, you behind the game a lot, okay? You need to catch up. Hopefully y'all caught my last live stream that I did on the Patreon about another type of threat. That's up for you to review as well if you're signed up on Patreon. I hope everybody got a chance to check that out because that's something we're going to have to nip in the bud going forward. That is a very dangerous threat. If you don't know what I'm talking about, need to be over there on Patreon to catch that out. Check that out. I couldn't put that over here on YouTube. But we're going to go ahead and get the snake off screen and we're going to get to listening to a serpent, okay? Because see, this conversation right here, It is study material so that you understand the different tactics that they'll try to use when we're having discussions amongst one another. And see, let's be clear about everything that you're about to hear. The white supremacists, a lot of you probably asked the question, why do they come over there and try Tariq like that? Okay, or anybody that's well studied, all right? Why do they come over there and try to come over there and spot their talking points? Let me tell you something. That's not meant for Brother Tariq. Do you hear me? Let me say it one more time. That is not meant for Brother Tariq. They know they're not finna move that brother on nothing. What they're doing is when they see there's large numbers on these platforms and they'll come over to speak, they're looking for the weak-minded amongst us, primarily the young, okay? The young and untrained. So they'll say a couple of things that'll be some half-truths, and then the rest of it is a bunch of white supremacist propaganda and bullshit. And they're looking for the unlearned, those that are not sharpened enough to understand that this is what you're looking at on your screen here. This is your enemy. Let me ask a question before we start tonight, exegesis over here, okay? Before we get into this, let me ask this question. How many of you under the sound of my voice looking at this image on your screen, as demonic and terrifying as it is, how many people, male and female in here, would trust this serpent on the screen? I want to know. Somebody let me know right now. Is there anybody in my chat room that would trust this demonic alabaster serpent that you're looking at with these demonic yellow eyes? Is there anybody in here that would trust that? I'd like to know now, because see, some of you, hey, you know, we might have some people in here, you know, that's probably what you've been wanting for Christmas. You want you a good old alabaster snake, you know. I mean, I'm just wondering, you know, I'm just making sure, you know what I'm saying? Hey, salute to my good first sergeant here, some chick named Star. I'm glad you joined us, sister. I hope everything is well with you. But yes, I'm glad that most of you in here would not trust this serpent, because see, unfortunately, we have some of ours that are just not gonna make it. Not just the Tilda class, some just not gonna make it. This serpent on your screen here that you're looking at, it can talk many of them into doing anything, and those are detrimental to the group. In fact, last broadcast I covered on Patreon went into detail about that. That was absolutely disgusting, but I had to put my people up on game over there where it would not be censored. So with that said, we're gonna go ahead and get into it, family, and prepare to take notes on this. Some of you might have caught this. Some of you may have not. So you're going to get to hear this portion of it right here. So we're going to go ahead and get started.
Let's get Handsome Truth in here. Handsome Truth. Mr. Handsome Truth in here.
His thoughts were about Jews taking over the media, Jews behind the COVID vaccines, Jews, 80% of the Jewish people controlling Joe Biden's cabinet. And I was wondering, do you speak out against Jewish supremacy?
Well, you can't have two supremes. Now, if there's Jewish supremacy, how come name the Jewish president?
Well, you can look at the Jewish money that funds the president. Like if you look at Trump's donors, if you go to gtvflyers.com, there's a list of like all the Jewish influence, from like the COVID vaccines to the LGBTQ Jew movement, the slave trade. Mm-hmm. Dr. Farrakhan talked about this. Mm-hmm. Dr. Tony Martin, Marcus Garvey, mm-hmm. Malcolm X, all black people exposing the Jew. Kanye West, you saw what happened to Kanye. And you see that we're giving these Jews $8 billion a year out of our tax dollars to destroy Palestine, not to mention the miscegenation. I was wondering what your thoughts on miscegenation.
So I'm going to pause it right there, all right? Because I wanted to let the babbling mayonnaise neo-Nazi supremacists get his rhetoric off. Let's go over a couple of things from a warfare standpoint, right? Because you know Brother Tariq is about to break his ass down like a fraction. But notice what he kept rambling off, that website that he mentioned, because see, what their trolls try to do, they all have their little propaganda that they love to try to spew in front of a large audience, okay? See, think of it this way. Think of it as an aircraft carrier doing a bombing run, all right? Think of it that way, doing a bombing run. And they're bombing an area with a bunch of propaganda. So get your website out there. That's the first little tactic. Then notice that he started rattling off. He mentioned the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He mentioned Dr. Tony Martin, who's deceased. I've covered that elder and grandmaster teacher. He wasn't of our lineage, but that brother was very well read, very well studied. And yes, both of them have spoken about the anti-black racism amongst Jewish people. But notice that they never ever just singled them out as that's the only threat. It's like, oh, it's just these people over here. See, that little ping pong ball game they try to play where they try to put it off on this one section over here. No, all of you are white supremacists because, see, to the young and unlearned, what they don't understand is you never break them up by religion or anything because they're all working together with the common denominator goal of oppressing us. All of them, okay? This is going to be made very evident several times over here with what we're analyzing tonight. So now, you have some silly people in our community that will listen to what he just said because, see, let's be clear. These white supremacists, if you're not out here studying, they're studying. They know our history. That's why he mentioned Dr. Tony Martin, okay? See, if you think that they're not studying, you are out of your damn mind. A lot of times we have the misconception and we confuse them with what I call the 3-2 Tony crowd, okay? You can't date my sister. I'm dating her right now. You know them guys, okay? Those idiots. Some of them, like this guy, they study a lot because, see, in order to be good at white supremacist accelerationism, because that's exactly what he's trying to do, come over here, I'm going to say a couple of things, and I'm hoping that it'll be a few Negroes stupid enough to listen to me. And see, don't get me wrong. There will be a handful, even if they're in new black media spaces, that will sit there, well, he did say something that is kind of true, because I'm finna show you something. Watch how I thread this needle. He mentioned Kanye West for a reason. Oh, I got to go here with it. The white supremacists mentioned Kanye West for a reason because a lot of people in our community like him because he's an entertainer. Yes, some of the things he said is true. However, here's the thing that I tell everybody. You may have said some truth, because there's many Kanyes, but we're talking about him since he mentioned it. You may have said something that is true, but when you kicking it with the likes of Milo Yiannopoulos and Nick Fuentes, oh, no, buddy. You compromise. And then every time something happens, you want to run over here and get the black community on your side, but you keep going back over there with the oppressor class. See, let me say this right now, and this is going to hurt some people's feelings that worship celebrities. Let me repeat what I said before. Yes, Kanye has said some things that are true. Yes, he's exposed some things that need to be exposed. But I cannot trust an individual like that. I can take what truth you say and say, okay, yeah, that's true. But you can't be trusted because these same people that you say are doing all these things, you can't help but be stuck up on them every 5 minutes. And I'm gonna get to breaking that rant down to his. I'll probably have to do that on Patreon. It's about 15 minutes long. We're not gonna do it tonight, but if y'all saw that where he was in his little supervillain costume, the little red supervillain costume he was wearing, whatever that was, that boy, that clothing line. I mean, I ain't gonna get started on that. That shit look like something from The Walking Dead, man. But anyway, you gonna spend your money on that? More power to you. If you notice in that rant though that I was talking about, many of you have seen it now where he was in his red supervillain costume. Room full of white people. Hardly a black soul in there. Maybe one or two might have been in there, some ambiguous looking. But see, that's not wise because if I'm in a war zone, I'm not going to surround myself with my damn enemy. You see what I'm saying? That is not wise. You get out of one situation with them crazy ass Kardashians, and the next thing you run to, you get you another white one. Let me tell you why you got to be triple, double-decker stupid to do that. And this time period right now where you see what's going on with Dirty Diddy, and I'm going to tell you right now, that's finna be a wrap. Once the feds get involved, Cassie done turned over stuff to the feds. See, look, they've been looking to get him for a long time. This was just it. He gave him the opening. And even though it's injustice and I don't co-sign it, Jonathan Majors, you set yourself up too. See this whole thing about you just got to be up under the people. I am so glad that I grew up in a family that taught me what they really are. Are all of them that way? No, but it's too damn many for me to take the risk on dealing with them in a personal level. And I'm going to have a Twitter space coming up about that. Me and my good brother Black Voltron are going to be hosting that. It's going to be a male-oriented Twitter space because I got to hear from the ladies on that. Probably going to do that Christmas Day. You know what I'm saying? I got to get back to the brother and see if we can schedule that a good time because, man, I got some things I got to say about that. so that I can make sure that the brothers at least hear it from somebody that's not going to sugarcoat the shit. I don't have no stars in my eyes when it comes to none of these damn entertainers. And I'm seeing a common theme amongst a lot of black men when it comes to the brother Jonathan Majors. Yes, it's injustice, but it's a lot of woe is me. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me tell you something, man. How sorry can you feel for somebody that put themselves in position to be taken advantage of? But we'll get to that. Like I said, be looking for that Twitter space. It's probably going to be Christmas Day. If not, you know what I'm saying, the day after. But now he mentioned Kanye because he knows that that's a luring point, okay? It's a luring point, especially to younger people that are, you know, enamored with Kanye because of his music, or they think that what he's saying is so right. Again, do not forget this man was kicking it with Nick Fuentes and Milo Yiannopoulos, well-known white supremacists. I can't trust you if you're pals with my damn opposition, okay? So I just wanted to break that part down. Let's get back to it.
All right, well, let's handle some of the other things first. Well, why do the Anglo white supremacists have a camaraderie with the Jewish white supremacists? Because there are Jewish white supremacists, and there's Anglo white supremacists, and there's Italian white supremacists, and there's Middle Eastern white supremacists. So why do all the white supremacists put their differences aside to practice anti-blackness? Why is that?
Well, I can tell you why. I'm considered a white supremacist myself,
Right.
by your standards, but I would say that if you look at the history of who brought the blacks to America and the transatlantic slave trade, you notice that all these ships were Jewish owned. So white kids.
Slow down.
Now, let me pause it yet again because I want to point out something very quickly before we get back to this. And this involves the tether class. I know the tether's like, what did got to do with us? It's got a lot to do with you because, see, I like to thoroughly educate my people, okay? Family, one of the things that I want you to make sure you pay attention to when you hear the tether class coming over here in our space spewing anti-black racism, they basically mimic the white supremacists because they idolize them as their gods. Now, you notice what he said when he described black folks, black people. He didn't say that. He said the blacks, okay? Blacks. They love that black stuff, okay? The blacks and the blacks, okay? When you hear people saying that, that's usually not us, okay? Very few of our people address us as the blacks or blacks. That's usually the tether class. So I just want to point that out. When you start seeing other black people coming around using that, that's a big red flag that, okay, yeah, we know where you from, boy. Your hairline might not line up, you know, so you probably got a horseshoe crab hairline. You probably ashy, okay? You probably got no dusty foot, you know what I'm saying? Fleet Force ones that you got on. So just be aware of that, okay? Language always matters. Just wanted to point that out. Let's get back to it.
Let's slow down.
Okay.
Let's slow down. Let's slow down. Okay. First, there were black people already here. Let's get that established. When the first European explorers came, who were Spanish, it was the Spanish who came first. They brought black people with them. And when the Spanish explorers came here, they specified they saw other black people here. There were already black people here. The Europeans brought more. Some of the earliest ships coming from Spain, they weren't Jewish people. Well, Columbus, some people say he might be Jewish. But some of the other explorers who came over, they weren't Jewish. Now, when the British started coming over, most of them, you know, many of them weren't Jewish. There were some Jewish slave owners. We had the Dutch East India Company, and there were some Jewish people involved in that. But there were Jewish people and Anglos and other white supremacists from different religious backgrounds, all working together. So what's the difference between an Anglo white supremacist and a Jewish white supremacist?
To answer that, well, you could say that the term Shabbos Goy, which is anyone of these white people or black people that work, that do their deeds behind the scene in a Mason lodge. They have the Boule Masons, which are the black Masons, which are the sellouts of your race, just like I have sellouts of my race.
Mm-hmm. But the problem is, it's like a criminal class who have differences with each other, but they all get on code against us. That's the problem. You're talking about little personal issues that you have with your fellow white supremacists. That doesn't mean a difference to me because all of you are on code against me. So I don't care what your religious background is, or if you're a white supremacist, what your ethnic background is. You're all against me as white supremacists. I'm not talking about the ones who don't practice white supremacy, because there are some Jewish people who are not white supremacists. There are Anglo people who are not white supremacists. But the ones who are, and when we talk going back talking about the slave traders, all of them were white supremacists. The Jewish ones, the Anglo ones, the Spanish ones, all of them believed in the ideology of white supremacy against my people. So me pointing out the differences they have between each other is inconsequential, sir. Same thing now. You understand that?
Yeah, I got.
Now, the way Brother Tariq broke that down, that was very eloquent, okay? Common sense 101. That's your friend, okay? When they start trying to razzle-dazzle you, the white supremacists, with all kinds of stuff that the average person may not be well studied on, all you need to rely on is your common sense. You should be wanting to learn about a lot of things that Brother Tariq mentioned, a lot of things I mentioned earlier. But see, let me point something else out to you. And see, I know the Tellers are going to hate me for this, but I have to use geopolitics to teach my people so that you can understand the warfare strategy that the white supremacists try to employ. When you go back and you study the Berlin Conference over there on the continent of Africa, yes, we got to go there, where they came over there, different groups of white people, okay, from different nations, different religious backgrounds. They came over there, but they had what? One common denominator goal. We're going to take this from these Negroes over here, okay? That was the one common denominator goal amongst them. We're going to take this from these Negroes. You get your piece over here, I get my piece over here. We're going to carve this thing up. And this is where a lot of their countries today, which are relatively new, a lot of the African nations over there are only like 50, maybe 60 years old, to be honest with you, with the borders that were drawn by the white supremacists over there. Let me tell you why I'm bringing this up, though. Because, see, what you're listening to here is the same strategy that was deployed over there. See, with white supremacy now, we've gotten to a point with the help of our grandmaster teachers over here and on the continent and in the Caribbean, for the ones that had them, okay, that they don't have any new tricks if we study the work of our grandmaster teachers that sacrificed before us. So now they couldn't have been successful with the Berlin Conference if they didn't deploy the strategy of coming over, observing the different tribes and seeing, okay, Ghanaians and Nigerians got an issue with each other. Okay, cool. Let me take that down. Got that. Well, let me go over here and spread some propaganda this side, spread some propaganda that side, and I'm going to play both of them against each other, but they're all going to be working for me. You see how that works? See, unfortunately, a lot of the things that were done by the white supremacists, whether you're looking at the British, the Portuguese, okay, even the Arabs, okay, the Spanish, whatever, they all had some type of help from those whom they were oppressing, the sellouts, the coons, and the traitors. All right, see, this is why history matters, all right? When you go and look at the situation where the Moors lost, the city of Alhambra over there, Boabdil the Moor. Remember what his mother told him, who was African? He said, hey, listen, when he was sitting up there, after he just handed over the damn fortress without a fight, he told him, do not cry like a woman for what you could not hold on to as a man. Very powerful statement in history. So see, me being a student of history, I like to bring things to you all over here in my audience so that you are understanding that history is a very powerful tool when you study it with intention not to repeat the same mistakes, and study it with a standpoint of how to empower yourself in the future, in the present here, okay? So now that's the tactic that this white supremacist is trying to use. He's trying to sit over here and see if he can divide people up and get you stupid enough, if you're stupid enough to go along with, yeah, man, it's the Jews. No, the Jews are working in conjunction with the other white supremacists, okay? For the ones of them that are white supremacists. Because like our brother said, all Jews are not white supremacists. All white people are not white supremacists. We're making that clear. We're talking about the ones that are. And any fool that sits there and try to separate them, because see, think about it. Michael Rappaport, let's use him for example, before we get back to this. He's a Jewish man by what he claims, okay? You think that he don't have other people that he's cool with that have the same white supremacist mindset as him that are not Jewish people? Come on now. And I'm going to go here with it too. When it comes to the Michael Rappaports, one of the things that we're going to have to tighten up on is men. A lot of us allow them to come around us. You have a lot of silly Negroes that just want to be the one that have the white boy in the room. I got a white friend. You ever seen a dog that hasn't seen you in a long time? When you come in, he wagging his tail and doing a little dog dance, and waiting to get a treat. You got some silly Negroes that act just like that, okay? And those of us that are on code, we're gonna have to really tighten up on them and make them pariahs. Like you and the white boy, that's the white supremacists, get the fuck out. That's we're gonna have to take that kind of stance, because see where we're going. I want y'all to be clear on the times we're in. We're at a very critical time where we could either break the system of white supremacy or fall up under it forever. Do you understand? This is a critical time. Let me tell you. I'm not going to trash all of them, because there's a handful of on code boomers. Salute to them. Those of us who are Gen Xers that are on code, salute to us. The millennials that are on code, salute to them. Gen Z that's on code, salute to them. We're at a critical juncture now where, with the dissemination of a lot of information, comparing notes, we've got a chance across all of those groups I just named to break this thing, man. You understand? So it's going to take diligent focus and being able to recognize when there's a serpent, like I showed you at the beginning of the broadcast, amongst us trying to sow the seeds of discord and confusion. Because, see, confusion is a conquering army's best ally on a battlefield. You get some confusion going on against the opposition you're trying to conquer, hey, man, half the battle is won. It's up to you to drop the ball after that. So let's let it continue.
One way to rebut that, because if they and I just want to just if I can just finish this one thing, because I want to make a point on who's trying to genocide your race through miscegenation, just like mine, through the plan called the Colonial plan, the racial plan for the 20th century, and the Great Replacement. But I can tie that up in a second here. But you were saying that Jews are white supremacists. Well, if Jews are white supremacists, why are they openly gloating that they're replacing white people, and all of the NGOs, non-government organizations that are opening up the borders? There's 30 plus Jewish NGO groups that are opening up the borders to Canada, United States, Europe, Australia, New Zealand. These are all white countries. No one's practicing diversity, not Indians, not Chinese, not Africa. No one's practicing diversity. Diversity is a code word for white genocide. So when you look at Jewish communists like Israel Cohen, who wrote in 1912, now let me just wrap this up and you can answer it.
Yes, indeed.
Quick quote, if you don't mind, because this is, when we talk about genocide, it's not just like through killing or police brutality or things like that. It's deeper, and it goes into miscegenation. Now, this destroys whites. This destroys blacks. A lot of blacks that, have a white girlfriend, the child ends up confused. It's like a form of child abuse, in my opinion. But let me just
But the child still is end up black. The child is still black.
They struggle. They're not really accepted by full-on black people. Not a lot of people that are 100% pro-black don't always accept half-breeds.
Yeah, they're black. We accept them. They're black. We accept them.
But then that gene that you talk about, this evil white supremacist, now you want to mix with them all of a sudden?
Well, no, all white people aren't white supremacists, though.
But why would you want to ruin your gene pool?
Well, the thing is, sir, we're all mixed somewhere down the line. The thing is, you're talking about white genocide, and let's get into it, because that's what this is really about. And there's been this fear of genetic annihilation. That's why white supremacy got started, because of the fear of genetic annihilation, and because the white numbers are very low globally. White people globally are less than 10%. That's a very real fear, but you don't have to practice white supremacy where you subjugate people in order to try to maintain your genetic numbers, because that's not going to work anyway.
Now, let me pause my good brother right there, because, see, this is why it's important to stay away from the Sukihana, sexy red, blue face, ignorant crowd, because the stuff that's being talked about here in this broadcast tonight, these people don't know none of this. Only thing they know is to be trained minstrels. And see, those trained minstrels are weaponized against our community. So you want to avoid that idiocy at all costs. Look, it's good to laugh at them, but like I've said many times over here on my channel, a bunch of stupid people in the same place at the same time is deadly, okay? Fun to laugh at them, but make sure you're laughing at them from a distance. So I said that to say this. He's bringing up the theory, okay, well, not the theory, the actual fact of genetic annihilation that these white supremacists are very afraid of. He's actually right because, see, family, they're not 10% of the population. That's why he said they're less than 10%. They're actually 7% of the global population now. We're talking about the dominant society. 7% of the global population. That's right. A lot of you probably did not know that. Verify it. Look it up for yourselves. Let me explain something to you. And to you white supremacists, you did this to yourselves because, see, this is what happens when you segregate yourselves in these little enclaves and then you have all your incest going on. Okay, that's you already. See, let's break this thing down about why they're so afraid. And see, weak people are some of the most dangerous people ever, okay? Because they do everything based out of fear, like I described earlier in the broadcast, which is why we need to stay away from, unhealthy fear. They're already the most susceptible on the planet to all types of mental defects and disorders. I mean, this is facts I'm saying. This is science they're arguing with, not me, okay? And they know this, okay? They're already susceptible to that. They have the weakest immune systems on the planet. So you couple that by further degrading your genetics with incest, then you further worsen your situation with an opioid epidemic that you refuse to punish people for and get that out of the country. Then the pandemic hit you across the head. So that knocked them numbers down even lower because in this country, they suffered the greatest losses in numbers. Okay, let's go ahead and really around the world. All right, because they was all hoping, it's going to sweep through Africa. And Africa had the lowest deaths from COVID, period. Okay, particularly the country of Madagascar. But that's a whole nother broadcast for another day. Okay, so then you add to it everything that I just said on top of that, because you're a privileged, spoiled, morally bankrupt group. You have your outcasts in white society, like your Elliot Rodgers, your Dylan Roots, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of times those mass shooters go and target your people. So see, when you combine everything that I just said, that is a fact that all of you who are living and listening to the sound of my voice can verify for yourselves. When you combine that perfect storm right there, you pushing yourselves towards extinction. We don't have nothing to do with that. That's a you problem. So to try to take that out on black people, a lot of black people probably don't understand, well, why are they at us? You got to study history yet again. Go back to the New York draft riots. The government made the decision to enact a draft. They start taking that out on black people. That erratic behavior when they're behind the 8 ball because there are people that have never had to struggle for anything. They start to target others up under them and take that out instead of using their collective brain power, what little they have, and their resources to come up with solutions for problems. They rather try to take it out on someone else. This is why as black people, we don't need to be afraid. You just need to be prepared to defend you and yours against them. And not only just physically, but against this verbal propaganda that we're analyzing here tonight. Okay? Because again, unfortunately, there will be silly Negroes that he can go and walk in a room and impress with things because they're unlearned, they're not well read, and they'll crown him the great white king, and he's going to tell on himself as this progresses further here. They'll hold every word he says up as gold. He can be king of Negroes amongst the ignorant and not knowing the whole time that he's like, yeah, I'm actually trying to lead you towards your destruction, okay? So I want you to understand that these are very serious threats, and when they come over into our spaces, you need to know exactly what you're dealing with. Because, see, I'm going to tell you a question that I would have asked him. And I got a chance to speak with him when he was on the stage there. If I would have been there, question I would have asked him, I'd be like, hey, man, so you telling us about the Jews this, the Jews that. So can you prove to me beyond the shadow of a doubt that the so-called Jews that you're so afraid of and that you point out everybody should be so afraid of is Jews, Jews, Jews. Can you prove to me beyond the shadow of a doubt that you don't work together in any way with no common denominator agendas? I would have asked him that question and I wouldn't have said another word after that because, see, when you pin them down with specific questions like Brother Tariq is going to do throughout this analysis here, they start trying to change the subject. They start trying to answer a question with a question, or basically they just break down and start trolling, okay? And those are the ones with the low IQs, okay, the low LIQs, we'll call it that. When they have the breakdown and start trolling, man, it's already a wrap, okay? So I just want our younger listeners to understand what you're dealing with and why they come over and try to troll in these spaces. I know everybody over here that's older, you understand that, but I have a lot of younger listeners as well, so I want to make sure they understand exactly why these people operate the way they do. Let's get back to it.
because segregating yourself, which is what they tried to do, and segregation was to save your white genes. What happens is when you segregate yourself, and you know, people have done this in these little enclaves in Middle America, you end up getting in incestuous relationships, which further creates neurological diseases, which speeds up the annihilation process. So you're killing yourselves off more than anything. You understand?
That would be the Jews with the Tay-Sachs and retardation and schizophrenia. But I just want to bring this quick point to you because this is important. If you look at the racial plan for the 20th century, it's a small little paragraph. You don't mind me blasting through it because it's very important for your people to know this as well as mine. I don't want anything to do with black people, but I do want you guys to understand that we have one enemy, and that's the synagogue of Satan. There's a black man by the name of Ayo Kamathi, who wrote a book called Jews Are the Problem.
I know him. This dude, you know, he worked for Homeland Security at one point.
Well, I was a Wigger rapper at one point. So,
Right.
everyone has a past. Not everyone's
no, that's different. You being a Wigger rapper don't mean anything compared to somebody who worked for Homeland Security, and now they're talking all of this rah-rah stuff.
Well, they were fired from Homeland Security for speaking out.
No,
it's different.
No, this guy.
Now, let me pause it right there because, see, this is another trick that they love to use amongst the unlearned in black society. They will pick out someone that, if you're diligent in your study of history and present day, they will pick out someone that's compromised amongst us. See, these are the types that will come amongst you, okay, for the unlearned masses, all right? They'll come amongst them and bring up a Thomas Sowell. And then if you don't know who Thomas Sowell is, or you're not well studied on his works and what he's, portrayed himself to be over the years, you'll think that he's actually cooking with fish grease, okay? See, ignorance is a very dangerous thing. And notice I use the word ignorance versus stupidity because there's a difference, simple difference. Ignorance is just not being aware of something, okay? Anyone that has not come into certain knowledge can be ignorant. Stupidity is when you do know something and you ignore it altogether and then sit there and look crazy when the outcome hits you in your face, okay? So that's the difference between ignorance and stupidity. So now he's trying to bring up all of this and bringing up compromised people in our circles, and he already just said that he don't want nothing to do with black people. So question, if you don't want nothing to do with my people, why should I trust a damn thing that comes out your mouth, white supremacists? See, I want my young people to understand what you up against here. You need to understand very well that the reason why you still hear the N-word used in schools today amongst your peers that are young, okay, for you in Gen Z, is because they teach them that when they're little kids. Y'all have seen me cover that over the years, okay? They teach them that when they're little kids. It's passed down like a family heirloom. Neely Fuller Jr. said it best. If white supremacists don't understand what the rules of white society are by the time they hit 15, they get in trouble. Because at that point, you're becoming of age where it's like, okay, you've got a role to play over here to keep this oppression going. So now either you're going to get on code or we're going to punish you. Or if you actually do the cardinal sin and go over and get over here with the niggers, just know we're going to treat you like we treat them. Okay. So that's how serious it is in their society. All right. With the way they act. And see, this guy right here, I guarantee you, man, if I would have seen his profile and look, I guarantee you I could track down everything that he's a part of. Operation Werewolf, all these little sites that they're on and everything. Okay, these little white supremacist message boards that they're on. I keep up with all of it, okay? I watch a lot very silently, and I try to put a lot of you up on these types of things, especially on Patreon, so that you know exactly what the threat is and what you're dealing with, okay? So he's not fooling me because let me tell you something. I studied them like lab rats. And just certain phrases that they use or certain people that they bring up or mention, or even if they start trying to speak in code, I know exactly what they're talking about. I know exactly what they're talking about. It's my job to make sure that my audience understands what they're talking about. So I'm going to break down several other things that he's going to try to slip past Brother Tariq in here. And I think Tariq caught a lot of it, but I'm going to break it down as it goes along. Let's get back to it.
Guy has a shaky background, and people within the community are very skeptical of him, myself included. The problem is white supremacy. There's no such thing as Jewish supremacy.
He disagrees with you.
Yeah, I don't give a damn.
And so did Malcolm X. Malcolm X disagrees with you, and so does Marcus Garvey. They're able. Why would the ADL?
No, Malcolm X talked about white supremacy.
No, he said Jewish people that were poisoning your food.
He talks about white supremacy. You can't have more than one supreme. Supreme means end all be all.
And notice how he tried to use and twist up what Malcolm, because look, any of us who are students of Malcolm X, our ancestor there, we know exactly what Malcolm was about. But the younger people today might not. See, I want you to keep in mind who his target audience is, white supremacists, because he knows that this is going to be listened to. And he's like, okay, if I can just confuse a couple of people, if I can say a couple of things and make it sound like Tariq don't know what he's talking about, I might can get some people over here to my side. Now, you may say, well, GBS, what would a white supremacist need with black people? Let me tell you. When you get an impressionable black mind, okay, like a lot of these goofy bedbugs and bedwenches, if you can get them when they're young, you can actually weaponize them against their people. Oh, yeah, y'all didn't think I was going there, huh? See, I told you. I look at this exactly for what it is. They've declared war on us, so I'm going to treat it as such, being a retired soldier, okay? So here's the thing. When you look at what he's talking about here, he basically tried to remix what Malcolm was talking about. And then here's the thing that a lot of people didn't catch with that. If Malcolm did address anything about Jewish people or any of the other people that he named, he did it from the standpoint of what was going on at that time period, okay? But none of them have ever said, oh, this just these Jews over here. You will never find any statements by our grandmaster teacher saying, hey, just single this one specific group out. And he keeps trying to bring up Mr. Farrakhan, but Farrakhan addresses white supremacy as the whole. Does he talk about what the white supremacist Jews do, the ones that are? Yes, he does. But that's not all he talks about. The devil is a lie and the truth ain't in him if you try to say that, because I can show you where the minister addresses that situation as a whole, okay? I don't have to be a Muslim to tell the truth about things. And see, again, I got to say this one more time. When someone is trying to be deceptive by telling half-truths, you don't trust a damn thing else that comes out their mouth. See, right now, all of you that are gathered over here today, if you ask me a question on this live stream or after it or, by email, Twitter, whatever, I'm going to answer that question with an honest answer. And if I don't have the answer, I'm going to direct you to a source or an individual that knows more about that particular given subject than I. Okay. But what I'm not going to do is deflect or try to deceive you. Okay. I just want to throw that out there for my young ones. Let's get back to it.
Do you know the genetic background of a Jew? What's
the genetic background of a white person? What makes a person white genetically?
I would say, well, the fact that we identify as colors is retarded in the first place. That's Jewish.
But you're the one who said you wanted to keep your white race and your white genetics. You said that, sir.
I should have corrected myself and said European. The fact that we as Europeans identify as white and you as Africans identify as black is silly, because then we lose our cultural history by identifying as colors.
The racial categories, sir. Why did your community create a racial caste system?
Well, the thing is my argument is in my opinion, we never wanted to be with black people in America. It was the Jews that brought you here again. So when you look at whites and you say,
sir.
Yes, it is. It's proven by black historians.
No, sir. The Anglo whites were profiting off of our labor. They wanted us here.
The cotton fields.
No, sir, we were doing more than just the cotton field. We were building the brush, clearing the land, building the bridges, building the railroad, sir. We weren't just picking no damn cotton, sir. We were doing way more than that. Are you one of those people who try to use we were just kind of farm equipment argument? Do you believe that, sir?
No, what I do think is that who would want to be ripped from their homeland, all right, and then go be transferred into a European nation? That sounds like kidnapping, and it sounds terrible. You guys lost how many millions?
What nation?
Why would you want
to? Now let me chime in right here for a second, because see, this is why it's very important to make sure that you teach your black children about our history and their heritage and exactly what really happened as regards to slavery and everything else. Because see, what the white supremacists is trying to do, you heard him say, oh, well, my people didn't want you here. Okay, if that's the case, then why was there a transatlantic slave trade in the first place? Because see, When they tried to do these things on their own, they failed because they're an incompetent group of people. Not my opinion. History proves this. Go and look at the state of Europe during the Black Plague. And if it wasn't for the Moors saving them with their knowledge of medical science and actually, doing something that would help keep diseases off you, like washing your ass, okay? Yeah, it had to be taught to bathe. They used to think lice were pearls of God. Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. There are accounts in history. For example, Queen Isabella I, she bragged that her funky ass only bathed twice in her lifetime, once at birth and once on her wedding day. Do you know how nasty you got to, man? Listen, I'm trying to remember, was it King Louis or one of them? One of them was so nasty, man, he didn't even bathe to the point that one of his toes fell off. I'm telling you, this is history. I think that was King Louis, one of them. I mean, look it up. You'll find it. It's not hard to find this history. I'm not making this up. So see, when you look at their collective incompetence, let's bring it on further here. Look at Jamestown, Virginia, the starving time. Go look that up. They were too stupid to understand how to farm and grow crops. So what did they start doing? They start cannibalizing each other. Oh, see, when you know this history, man, you can walk the dog on it without having to roast them and joke. I mean, look, the roasting is just telling the truth, to be honest with you. So now, if a people is so inferior and so incompetent, you would want to stay as far away from them as possible. I know I would. But see, when they observed our people that were already here and the ones that were over on the continent of Africa, what they started to learn was that, hey, man, wait a minute. We come from this little sulfur-soiled shithole called Europe where there's no resources. The soil's not good for growing food. And these people over here thriving and surviving, they got advanced mathematics. In fact, the business. Here's the funny thing about history. And see, y'all know me. I love to tell the truth about history. If you look at a lot of their so-called scholars that came over to the continent for the first time, they came to like the universities of Timbuktu and they marveled at how wise and smart the students were. So a lot of them that called themselves scholars at the time, the professors at the universities over there, they had to be a master of no less than 10 subjects. So what you found was a lot of the students at that time were smarter than their so-called teachers. I'm telling you, man, from just looking at how to improve sailing technology, they were illiterate. They didn't know how to read. They didn't really have a formal mathematics system. Listen, go look up Zerial Damore. He had to teach them how to eat a civilized course meal. Okay? Look, man, everything from, let me just go here with it, because see, this wasn't really going to make them mad. When the Moors went over there to Europe, okay, and the Moors built all those castles, the Europeans didn't do that. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. When they came over there, and I'm not bragging about it because it was something that if I could go back in time, I would discourage the Moors from doing that. But listen, man, as black men, we didn't just start being attractive and fly here in this era. We were always that way, okay? When them men came over there with their fine silk outfits, all right, then they mastered a creation of what would become cologne. These brothers were smelling good, looking good. They had gold. They had knowledge. So you think about coming over to Europe at this time, which was a trash heap, and it still is today in certain parts. And these brothers are decked out in their jewelry and everything, smelling nice. Hey, they're clean. All right, and then you got your little raggedy European men running around over here, like damn farm animals and shit. Yeah, that women started choosing. Now, again, I hate that. I wish they would have ignored them raggedy beggars and just came over there and did what they need to do business-wise and go back home. But I'm just making a point. The women are always going to choose the men that have the most life experience, that have, possessions and resources, and yes, that are attractive and damn sure smell good. So that's as old as time. And that burns a lot of white supremacists to this day, okay? So now when you get back to the whole thing about being inferior, just look at it. That envy that they have for us, that started way back before this time, all right? And see, that burns guys like him up. Now, you know where I stand. I don't want them to do with their women at all. But I'm just letting you know where some of his frustration is coming from, coming over here in these spaces. He's worried about the wrong thing. But hey, we're going to get back to it.
Be dropped into a European nation when that's
what
not your
European where what European nation are you talking?
America was founded by Europeans.
No, America wasn't a European nation when
the roads were built, the buildings were built, the Constitution was written, the Bill of Rights was ratified by Europeans.
Sir. Well, yeah, the white supremacists dominated and just kind of took over the world, but this wasn't a European nation. You know why it wasn't, sir?
Why?
Because the Europeans failed when they tried to do it on their own. That right there is proof. You would have never had this nation if it weren't for foundational. They failed repeatedly when they tried to build something over here on their own. They failed when they did it in San Miguel del Guadape, over there in the North Carolina, South Carolina area. Down in Florida, they failed. Down in Roanoke, they failed. And they were failing in Jamestown. They were eating each other, sir.
Well, you failed in Haiti too. So, I mean, that's tit for tat. But,
sir, and I'm not Haitian, by the way. But
I'm just being honest, man. Yeah, I mean, we can point fingers all day. I'm trying to focus on the Jewish supremacy.
Now, let me pause it right there because, see, you saw the white supremacists tried to get slick in the mouth and start talking about Haiti. And I'm not Haitian, okay? Brother Tariq isn't Haitian. But I know about Haitian history. Let me tell you something, man. Before them damn white supremacists came down there, man, Haiti had their shit together. They were more advanced with medicine, growing food and everything, okay? And when the white supremacists show up, because, look, I'm just going to call them what they are. Globally, as a collective, they're the bastard parasites of Earth. You think about it. Watch this. See, let me say this for young black people so that if there's any young black person that has low self-esteem about certain things, or somebody in your family or in the community has not taught you proper history, I'm going to uplift your spirits right now with the truth. Name one place in all of recorded history that the dominant society has gone in peace and improved that place, and it was better because of coming in contact with the local natives. Name just one place. See, when you put it in that type of simplicity right there, you see how that makes them look? They are the world record holders of genocide. That's something they don't want to take claim for, okay? Or they love to take credit for everything, but for what I just said, and you can prove this with their own history and just paying attention to how they conduct themselves today. They do not know how to get along in peace with people. They come, peace is there before they come, and then when they come, everything goes straight to hell because they are a morally bankrupt people, okay? Is it all of them? No, but it's too damn many. And the ones that are not like that, they're outnumbered by the ones that are. So they don't really have much of an effect or power to really combat things other than trying to actually let us know what's going on in a way that they can be able to stay safe and do it. But so that's the point that I'm making, all right? So now, when you come forward to present day here, and this little alabaster giblet that's trying to go back and forth with our brother Tariq, he knows everything that I'm saying is true. See, I'm going to tell you something I want y'all to try, all right? As you progress with your knowledge of history, whether you get it from myself, Brother Jason Black, Tariq Nasheed, Professor Black True, Brother Philip Scott, Vicky Dillard, I could be her name on and on, Raheem Shabazz, okay? Anybody, okay? If I missed a name, I'm sorry. It's so many. My brother Torian Rain with his Sundown Town series and many other series that he's done. Excellent work. The brother Afro Elite, okay? Our sister ZZ over there at A to Z TV. Like I said, I'll be her name forever. As you progress in your knowledge of history, though, start doing this. Don't get mad. Don't curse them out. No, just start hitting them with the truth. And stay calm when you do it, because, see, that's where it really burns. When you don't get upset, you'll be like, oh, okay. So y'all had it going on, huh? Okay. Tell us about San Miguel del Guadape when you failed over here and all of y'all started catching all those diseases out of nowhere, huh? Because, you know, the Moors tried to teach you that you needed to bathe and you refused to do it, huh? So let's see, start looking at all the different things that they got wrong, okay, repeatedly. And see, here's where I really bust out laughing when I hear them try that high IQ stuff. Just a cursory glance at history from different parts of the world, looking at their failures, you'll be like, wait a minute. You couldn't have as high IQ as you claim because you keep repeating the same things over and over that do not work. You see, what they had to do, they had to figure out that, okay, we're going to survive as a global minority, because they saw that everywhere they went, hey, it wasn't a whole bunch of alabaster face folks. Everywhere they went around the world, when they finally figured out how to start selling, it was black people. We have been everywhere. You understand me? even in Ireland, before they ran black people out of there, and that's a whole nother history lesson. What they figured out, they said, okay, we're a intellectually incompetent people. We really don't have much in the way of skill sets. What's the one thing we're good at besides not taking baths and sitting over here running around like little cave trolls? They sat there. Oh, this was painful for them because, see, y'all need to show sympathy for this. They sat there and they got them little white supremacist gears are turning to the point where sparks start coming out their ears and they start smoking. And finally, one of their clan sisters or cave sisters, whatever you want to call them, they said, you know what, guys? We're better at one thing than any other group on the planet. So what's that? Lying, cheating, stealing, and killing. That's what they're better at than everybody else on the planet. Prove me wrong. I'm going to tell you like our ancestor and Grandmaster Teacher Dr. John Henry Clark said, don't get mad, get smart. Prove me wrong. Let's get back to it.
These people that are vaccinating kids.
Bring up Haiti, because Haiti had to be subjugated by all the Western powers, had to come together to subjugate and sanction Haiti. Haiti whooped that ass.
How often do your people help third worlders?
All the time.
How?
We Foundational Black Community. For me, you speaking of Haiti, I did a documentary film about the Haitian Revolution that's being
outside of your race.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like, you see whites giving billions of dollars to Africa. You see whites opening their borders to Mexico. You see whites going out of their way to give all this money to these third world countries, India, all kinds of places. How often do you in Africa give back to other third world nations?
In Africa? I'm not from Africa, sir.
Originally, you are.
But you're from Africa too. Originally.
I'm from Europe.
I'll tell you what, I wish I'd have been on stage to ask him at that time while Brother Tariq was talking to him, while he's trying to ask, what do you guys do for third world countries? What do you do for Africa? I'll be like, okay, if I tell you what we've done for them historically, okay, you know, our brother John C. Robinson went over to Ethiopia, helped form their Ethiopian Air Force. I can name many other of our brothers and sisters over here that during apartheid, we stood up for them so that they could become empowered and get their freedom from that oppressive demonic system. I'll be here on and on, naming all night long what Foundational Black American Freedmen have done historically for our brothers and sisters over there on the continent of Africa, okay? But what I would have asked him, I would have said, okay, now that I've told you some of what our people have done, name for me a time that you haven't gone over there and harmed our brothers and sisters over there. Oh, yeah, see, I would have loved to flip that back around on him, because I'll be like, look, it's so easy to do when you know your history. You can pick any country on the continent and find something that they had a hand in that they shouldn't have, that is causing the people a detriment to this day. Even right now, when you look at the greater majority of the puppet leaders over there, they have hidden white hands paying them to cause the chaos that they cause over there. The Paul Beers, okay, with his despicable ass, all right. Then you look at, okay, the former corrupt leaders that were over Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, and shout out to their brother Ibrahim Traore. I can't sing his praises enough. That young brother is 31 years old, the president now of Burkina Faso. He kicked their asses out, got on code with Mali, Niger, and let's see, what's the other nation? I think Malawi is joining them, if I'm not mistaken. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, if you're up on geopolitics. But either way, my point is this: he's forming alliances and saying, hey, listen, man, over here, the French in West Africa, they've been on and had their foot on our necks long enough. There's no sense in us fighting each other. Let's put our military power together. Let's put our resources and our knowledge together and get these motherfuckers out of our nations. That's how it's done. You want to talk about Pan-Africanism? That's what you do right there. Until I see that across the continent, hey, man, you tell us can't come over here and talk about nothing and tell us nothing, okay? You need to be trying to support brothers like, okay, Ibrahim Traore or down there in South Africa, Julius Malema, okay? And there's a couple others that I could name, okay? The Professor P.L.O. Lumumba's, okay? Joshua Mapanga, just to name a handful that are over there trying to get the people on code instead of coming over here telling us what we shouldn't be worrying about. Because, see, this white supremacist that's babbling over here to our brother Tariq, these tellers will come right over here and side with him. They'll crown him king, and then the next thing you know, we sitting over here trying to get something accomplished. They'll show up with his ass as their king on their shoulders. Okay, so hey, I just point out the facts. Let's get back to it.
No, the European.
Sir,
stop it.
I am not a king.
Everybody came from Africa at one point.
Oh God.
I'm a foundational Black American, sir.
Oh
We
my
have a
goodness.
whole genetic bloodline over here that's different from other people, sir. I'm a foundational Black American. I haven't lived in, nobody in my family has lived in Africa for centuries, sir. This is my homeland.
I don't want to get caught in the Jewish trap of us going back and forth with each other. But can I please just read this thing about miscegenation really quickly? It's short.
Well, the thing is, we're fine as far there's no miscegenation that's going to harm us because I'm a foundational Black American with dominant genes. So all the offspring I have is going to be Black. You got issues with that, sir. That's a you problem.
So you would date a white woman?
I wouldn't, but there's some cute white women out there.
So you would just have casual sex with white women?
Cute white women out there that I pop my collar to some of the brothers who like that. If they want to smash, shout out to them.
Why promote that kind of behavior? That you say nuclear family and you promote playerism. What is that? That's a double standard.
That's not a double standard. Everybody
got you promote nuclear family, but then you say smashing white women or objectifying any woman is trash. Look.
See, I'm gonna pause it right here because let me tell y'all something about our good brother Tariq that a lot of y'all probably really don't understand. Tariq is a very polite person, man. Very polite. I'm talking about, man, if you ever meet that brother in person, man, super polite people, unless you start up with him. Me, not so much. See, I'm what you call a very sadistic and devious, well-read Black man, okay? What I would have done with the white supremacists, I would have condescendingly told him, I was like, listen, Giblet, don't whine to me because your women are running over here getting with brothers that want to get with them. That's your issue. You need to man up, okay, and go solve that problem. That's not my issue. Whining about your women over here. I don't want a damn thing to do with your women. See, I would have pissed him off. I would have got up under that white supremacist skin, boy. I would have been like, listen, dog. I like, because look, watch this. As disgusting as it is, what's his name? The little cornball, Jake Paul, what's the other one? Luke Paul, whatever the name is. You remember the little dude, the one that's supposed to call us trying to box people, all right? Getting people to take dives, because that's all that is. Remember when he was boxing that black dildo? See, they stay with black penis on the brain. They're always thinking about that. I'm like, listen, man, if you want your women to be attracted to you, hey, man, I don't know what to tell you, man. Go get you some industrial strength sulfate shampoo, get the lice out your head. I don't know, maybe take a couple of baths and wash yourselves. I mean, because look, I'm not making it up. We've heard a lot of their celebrities come out and say how they just don't like water. For some reason, the motherfuckers are like the damn gremlins. They don't like water. They don't like it. I don't know why the white women don't want you, but I would just discourage you from bringing that over here to me. That's what I would have did. I would have got on his ass, man. He better be glad I went over there in that Twitter space and got a chance to chop it up with it. He would have been pissed off, boy, that white supremacist. Listen, man, Becky and y'all issues, that's y'all got to work that out, man. I wish you would come get them and stop bringing them over here or having them come over here. Get it under control. Do what you need to do. We trying to get our things together. We don't want their, recessive genes over in our gene pool. I know I don't. I really don't. I know that may sound bad, but I mean, that's just me, man. I'm going to say something. Oh, boy, that is really going to piss them off. And they can clip it all they want to, but I mean what I say. When it comes to your women, to me, that's a genetic downgrade. You hear me? I don't want shit to do with your alabaster class women. Keep them over there, okay? You're not going to have me in a situation like Jonathan Majors running around town like the damn Flash trying to get away from one of you crazy-ass women. Shit, y'all can't do nothing with them. What the fuck I want with them? Take that trash back over there to where you at. Work it out. Do what you need to do, okay? Yeah, I mean, I'm the last person they will have to worry about trying to be enamored with them Beckys because, one, let me take it deeper than that. The way I see it, and I'm not telling anybody else what to do, I'm speaking for myself. The way I see it, I don't have permission to go over there and be with your women. Not from you, but from my ancestors that they killed, okay, historically. Emmett Till, his life was lost by lying-ass alabasters, okay? May she rot in hell where she belongs, okay? Whole towns, Black Wall Street, burned down by the lie of a white woman. Over and over, we can look at how the lies of white women have cost our people their lives, okay? So for me, listen, if I ever did decide to get another way, it wouldn't be that one. It wouldn't be that one. Nope. I just couldn't do it. Like I said, everybody gonna do what they want to do. That's my personal thoughts. Like I said, it's a genetic downgrade, and I could never trust them. okay? In a system of white supremacy, they will always have more power than any other men that they get with in this system. Let's let it continue.
What's happening to look what's happening to the black women in America. They're single mothers because of you people like you promoting that kind of behavior.
No, they got men
and
with
rap music, Jewish rap music.
Oh Lord, now you're blaming the Jewish
Who
people.
are no, I can tell you who all the music producers.
Sir, why are all the women in your community strung out on meth right now? You're talking about a nuclear family. The meth.
Who's the Sackler family? Who brought in all the opiates?
Sir,
Who brought in the crack cocaine?
Sir, your community, the white supremacist community brought it in, sir.
You mean the whites? Okay, so let me ask you something. You say white supremacists. Why would white supremacists want to kill other whites if they were white?
That's what they did over there in Germany. That's what they did over there in the Ukraine in the Holodomor, right around the time of
the Holodomor was 75%.
You know, I got to pause it for a second, and I want to touch on something about the drugs issue, okay? Because I'm gonna let them get back to this in a minute because he's really about to start breaking his white supremacists down. But when it comes to the drug issue, this goes to show you that they really don't have high IQs, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I want you to look at the history of China, right? I will give the Chinese credit for this. They learned the hard way about that opium, okay? Because see, if you go way back and look at their Chinese dynasties and their histories and their wars, I'm trying to remember what emperor that was, okay? Because, man, look, sometimes when you know so much, it's hard to remember all these different names, but I'll paraphrase it, okay? Let's put it this way. There was a Chinese emperor, and you can find his name for yourselves because this is well documented, where he was in charge of, like, you know, a kingdom at that time over there, and his military, they kept taking losses. He kept noticing the soldiers were getting their ass whooped left and right. You know, they were in slovenly condition, and what he started to find out that they was abusing opium. So when he found that out, he was like, okay, hey, this shit, burn all of this. No, if we catch you using it, we're going to put your ass to death. Because he saw how that was costing them their power. Now, when you fast forward to present day, what's the one thing the white supremacists love? Boy, they love their drugs, man, no matter how much they try to talk about us, because they put it in our communities. Not making excuses, but they put it in our communities. That's a fact. So now when you look at them, think back to what I told you about weak people. You know why they always have to have drugs close by? Because of weak people that cannot really figure out how to do things. See, that's a hard existence when you know you're incompetent. Do you hear me? Listen, I'm finna hurt their feelings. Let me go here. Why you think they fight so hard over these fictional characters and things as soon as they change one of them to a black person, or if there's black people in like the Star Wars universe, they freak the fuck out because they don't have any real history to be proud of. So when you're incompetent, you don't really have any real problem solving ability unless you're using other people, namely us. That's depressing. Think about it. You wake up every day and you know you're a loser. Never mind the lies that you tell other people. Never mind the bravado that you put on when you come in our different spaces like this white supremacist here. You know that at the end of the day, when you turn your computer off, when you're by yourself, you're a loser. You'd have to get high every day just to survive that. Thank God I'm not of that group. So I understand why they have to have their drugs. They would go insane without them. I just wanted to point that part out. Let's get back to it.
Jewish. Trotsky was Jewish. Lenin was Jewish. Yagoda, who killed 10 million Russians and Ukrainians, was Jewish.
Still white.
That's not. No. You pick and choose. Just like they do. You're doing the same Jewish games.
No, sir. You killed other fellow white people, sir.
Sure. Yes, we did, because we were brainwashed by the Jewish media, the New York Times, all of our media. If you go to gtvflyers.com.
That's another thing. Because if we're talking, let's go back to Nazi Germany. If the Jewish people are so supreme, how were you able to kill so many of them if they were supreme?
Holocaust is illegal to question in 18 countries. It's the only genocide that you could be thrown in jail for. You actually believe in the Holocaust?
Yeah, it did happen.
Oh, boy. Yes, you are not a king if you don't do your research.
Are you one of these Holocaust deniers?
Are you one of these vaccine deniers?
Remember what I told you about answering a question with a question? That's what the white supremacists did. Tariq was pinning them down on that foolishness about denying the Holocaust. See, and that's another thing. Not only are we not, as foundational Black American free men and women, not only are we not a morally bankrupt people, we believe in telling the truth, okay? Yes, we know that the Jewish people went through the Holocaust. And like Tariq said, if the Jews are so superior, how were you able to kill so many of them? See, when you confront white supremacy, you have to understand that it's illogical. All you have to do is tell the truth and their lies unravel. Why? Because when you start practicing deception, it takes work to keep a deception going. That's a tedious, tiring thing. And you have to invent one lie, another lie, a backup lie, a patch-up lie. The truth is self-evident. All you have to do is point a truth in the direction of a lie and it falls apart every single time. Don't get frustrated. Don't start going back and forth with them. Just clown them with the truth. That's it. See, look, for those that are wondering, I know the older adults listen to me. I know you get this, but for the younger people, the first sign of someone that's practicing in good faith or practicing in bad faith in a debate is when they start rambling like this white supremacist here. Start trying to change the subject, answering questions with questions. That's letting you know that, hey, man, this whole conversation is in bad faith. But yet, again, like I said before, their goal is to lure in the unlearned amongst our people that are listening. All right. See, what I want my young black people to do, not even what I'm telling you over here on this broadcast tonight, get into a habit. And this is something that was taught to me in my early years, okay, by my parents and my grandparents. Sure, they taught me things and helped me learn things. But at a certain point, once they saw that I was a proficient reader, okay, understand the English language and several others that I would talk at an early age, okay, they started making me go do research. Hey, boy, you got what you need? Here, go get this encyclopedia. Here's this book. Read up on it. Then you come back and tell me. Start researching things for yourself so that you can say, wait a minute. I know for a fact, not just what somebody told me, but I know for a fact that you're lying, white supremacists. See, when you make knowledge and research and truth your own, it's hard for anybody to deceive you. Then it becomes a light work as far as dealing with them. It's comical because, see, to be honest with you, if these people weren't so demonic, I would almost feel sorry for them with where they're about to go. I would almost. Notice I said almost, but I can't. I'm indifferent towards them. You've done my people too much for too long. Now, I know a lot of you white people, hey, that's not me. I'm not like that. Hey, I get it. But look, the collective of your people, they are. So your issues are your issues. It's up to you to solve that and handle that, okay? We couldn't save you if we wanted to. Because, see, this is the one thing when you look at white supremacy's situation on the global level. They practice injustice for so long that they back themselves into a corner. Never mind America. Let's put that on the back burner for a minute. You better go look at them birth rates in Europe right now. It's so bad they're trying to pay people to have kids. You understand me? They know that they're about to fall below that replacement level number. And once you fall below that, man, hey, you're on your way to extinction. I didn't do it to you. You had all the opportunity in the world to practice justice amongst people, okay? And you chose not to do it. You reap what you sow. It is what it is. Let's get back to it.
It's the same repetition with the Jewish media. Yes, I deny the mainstream narrative.
So you don't believe that they were putting people in ovens over there killing them. That's what you
mean they were masturbated to death too and turned into bars of soaps and lampshades. Do you believe that?
Sir, do you believe that they killed all those people? I don't know what you're talking about.
I believe that they were put in camps, but do I believe they were masturbated to death, turned into bars of soap? And who made the Shoah Foundation that puts all this propaganda? Are you familiar with Steven Spielberg?
Sir,
Steven Spielberg. He made the Shoah Foundation, which is promoting all this 6 million lives.
You're deflecting. So do you believe? Hold on. Let me ask you something.
I got you. You're not well researched.
See, let me point out something else very quickly here. You know the reason why their women are running away from them at this point? Because, see, ladies, let me ask the ladies in the chat room something. I want y'all to answer this question for me. Listen to the way this white supremacist is babbling and deflecting about the issues in his community, okay? Instead of focusing on finding solutions for that. Does that strike confidence in any of the women listening to the sound of my voice live and recorded? Does that strike confidence in you when you see that there's an issue that needs to be solved and you talking to a man that sounds like this? He's got everything to say itself for solutions to the problem, or you don't even see him trying to solve the problem. Now, I understand why the white women are trying to choose up on other men because, look, this is pathetic. They've got real issues they need to take care of. You understand? Yeah, so that's one reason why your women really ain't trying to rock with you like that. They've become aware that, okay, yes, to keep the system of white supremacy going, we all got to play along with the deception. But they know how incompetent you are. How do they know? Because see, in case you think I'm letting them off the hook, who are the first teachers of the children? Oh, Becky, yeah, I got to throw this in there. I don't want them getting happy thinking that I'm one of their allies, because I'm not. You're the first teachers of the children over there, Becky. Yeah, see, this incompetence is your fault. It starts with you. Yeah, we go. Look, they like to talk about our homes and all of this dysfunction over here. What about your dysfunction? Because your dysfunction is global. Oh my God, is it ever global? So, they've created a perfect storm of incompetence and dysfunction. And look, it's caving in on itself, okay? It's caving in on itself. And I'm just sitting back with my popcorn watching because, see, I'm going to tell you something else they don't like to hear us say. We're going to be fine. I'm going to say it again. Black people are going to be just fine as long as we don't try to follow behind them and practice what they practice. They always try to do this too, because keep in mind, this is a historically weak people as a collective. Notice how they always try to make their problems everybody else's. You know why? Because when you're mentally incompetent and incapable of solving your own problems, you want to make everybody else think that their problems are yours so that they will solve the problems for you. They're parasitic, man. It is what it is. Let's get back to it.
No, I'm very well researched, but you're
Not
just
really.
deflecting. You're deflecting. I asked you a question, and you start.
I've got you dead to rights.
You're deflecting. You're deflecting. So you one of these? Do you deny the atrocities of slavery in America? Are you one of these people like slavery wasn't that bad for you guys? Because that sounds.
If you look, I can pull up all the names of the slave owners of all the ships. Can you?
I don't have to.
That's kind of factual. If you're blaming white people,
Salute to the good brother Project Leroy for the cash out. But see, let me tell you what he just tried to do here, the white supremacists, with that. I can pull up all the names of the ships and the slave owners, can you? Listen, yes, we know that a lot of the slave ships were financed by Jewish people, but who did they sell them to? Huh? Who are they working in conjunction with? So this whole it's the Jews. No, you were working together to facilitate the slave trade, okay? There's no way out of it. It's historically documented, okay? I've covered this extensively. In fact, Dr. Tony Martin broke a lot of this down. He's just one of many people. So when he mentioned Tony Martin, if he was really honest about that, he would know that Dr. Tony Martin covered that too. There was no distinction where it was like, okay, it was just these one section of white folks over here called Jews. No, you were working together with other non-Jews to enslave us because there was a lot of money to be made off the backs of our ancestors, which is why we are going to collect that check, and you're going to cut it. You're going to cut it. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. There's going to come a time. I know a lot of y'all probably don't think so. Mark my words. There's going to come a time where they're going to be begging to pay them reparations. Because see, now it's really starting to sink in that everything that I just talked about over here tonight, I've given a list of reasons why they're pretty much damn near at the gate of extinction. Man, I'm telling you, it's going to come down on them. Mark my words. You're going to see. I know a lot of y'all like, oh, they ain't going to never have a watch. I'm telling you, all you have to do is just sit back and pay attention to where things are going. They're going to be begging to pay them reparations. Let's get back to it.
And you don't even know the names of the ships. You have the Abigail, which is owned by Aaron Lopez, Moses Levy, and Jacob Franks.
I know about Aaron Lopez. Aaron Lopez started
Jewish
synagogue in America. I know about it.
Newport. Yeah.
But the thing is, but here's the problem. Those Jewish white supremacists were working with your Anglo white supremacists. So what's the difference?
This is crazy that you keep calling Jews white. Jews are not white.
When Judah P. Benjamin.
Salute to the brother Herman Lee Holmes for the cash app. And see, let me point something else out here because I want you to pay attention to this. Repetition, that's a way to condition and program someone. So they know that they're lying, but they'll just keep saying it. The Jews are not white. The Jews are not white. Yes, they are. Yes, they are, buddy. Oh, yes, they are. You allowed them to be classified as white when they came over here, so they're going to be white. You're not going to distance them from what you let them be classified as. They're white. We can't look. Watch this. How could you tell the difference between a Jewish person and a non-Jewish person that's both Caucasian? Unless one of them got a yarmulke on their head. If there's no yarmulke, no nothing. What's the difference? You're both white, buddy. Let's get back to it.
Who started the KKK?
Right. Well, Judah P. Benjamin, who was a part of the Confederate. They said he was the brains of the Confederate. The other guys were Anglo white supremacists, Irish, Scottish, or whatever. They were all the same. So what's the difference? Why should I look at their religious backgrounds or their ethnic?
Here, I can prove you right here that Jews aren't white if you let me finish.
Sir, they were practicing white supremacy along with the Anglos. So what are you talking about?
All right, here's how I can prove you wrong if you let me finish.
Go ahead.
Okay. Israel Cohen, A Racial Plan for the 20th Century. This is a Jewish communist, 1912. He says, we must realize that our party's most powerful weapon is racial tension. By propounding into the consciousness of the dark races that for centuries they have been oppressed by the whites, we can mold them to the program of the Communist Party. In America, we will aim for subtle victory. While inflaming the Negro minority against the whites, we will endeavor to instill in the whites a guilt complex for their exploitation of Negroes. We will aid the Negroes to the rise in prominence in every walk of life.
The Jewish people made you
Can
white.
I finish? Can I finish? I have one more sentence.
Because this is babbling. So you're saying,
oh, it's indeed babbling, Brother Tariq. It definitely is. And before Brother Tariq scorches him, y'all want me to give you something that's pretty much a shutdown reply when it comes to this whole it's the Jews, it's the Jews, it's the Jews. Yeah, y'all want me to give you something very simple that you can use to shut that crap down when they start. Do y'all want it, family? Because see, you know me, man. I sit back and I observe, and I'll be like, okay, that's what you want. It's the Jews, it's the Jews, huh? Y'all want me to let you know how you shut that down? All you have to do is hit them with this. Okay, since the Jews, as he claims, are such a great threat. Oh, it's the Jews, it's the Jews. Being that they're a small percentage in the single digits in this country, if they're just such a threat, and there's far more so-called regular white people that are not Jews, why would you let them come here? Uh-oh. See, when I hit you with it, man, this is why they don't like talking to me. When I hit you with it, I go ahead and aim for the jugular. I hate you. Think about it. If that's such a great threat, why wouldn't you just deport them all? You could do it. Huh? You got the numbers. You're in control of the economy, the military, and everything else. You trying to tell me that you couldn't get rid of this grave threat? You just got you held hostage over here. They could change that overnight if they wanted to, if any of this was real, because it's not. Okay? You work together. That's what it really is. So anytime they start trying that, remember what I just said. That shut that nonsense down. Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
No, Jewish people made you
you're
white.
missing the. Oh my goodness, really?
No. Are you saying that Jewish people made you white supremacists?
I'm saying that Jewish people are if you let me finish.
No. I want you to get to the point because you don't get to the point.
My point is they're saying that their whole goal is to bring you to the highest level of prestige in sports and entertainment so that you can marry with whites. That's the end of the sentence. Now, why would a white supremacist want to wipe out other whites by marrying them with blacks if they weren't white?
Sir.
It goes against nature.
No, Dan Burroughs was a high-ranking member of the American Nazi Party. He was Jewish, and they didn't know he was Jewish.
That's not his name. It wasn't Dan Burroughs. You're wrong on the name.
What's his name? His name is Dan Burroughs.
I can look it up right. It's Frank Collins. You're wrong.
No, it's Dan Burroughs.
It's Frank Collins. Yeah, I know that. I know George Lincoln Rockwell. He's one of my idols, and right. Frank Collins was Jewish.
No, and Dan Burroughs was Jewish too. Google him. All right, look up Dan Burroughs. I know what I'm talking about, sir, because Dan Burroughs was one of the people who helped recruit the folks who bombed the Birmingham church down in Alabama, sir. So I know the name. I know Dan Burroughs. He was a Jewish guy, and they didn't know he was Jewish, sir.
Exactly. So if you're saying you didn't know he was Jewish and they're leading whites to do this kind of stuff, doesn't it seem like they've got like they're not white then? If they can blend into being white, it's like pork and chicken. They're
they
two
are.
different things,
If
but
they
they're
can,
white meat.
that means they're white enough, right?
Oh, that is a cope if I've ever heard one.
If they can blend in, they're white enough. If they can just change their names to an Anglo name and blend in, they're white enough.
Why would they change their
If
names if they're
they're a
considered white?
or whoever, they can blend in. These people in Hollywood, all they do is change their names and they can blend in and you don't even know what they are. They're
Tariq, I challenge you to a debate on my show. Okay.
white.
I
If
challenge you to a debate.
if they're white enough, what difference does it make? They're
No,
white.
this is no, you're foolish and you're leading your people to
I'm
slaughter.
not. I'm not.
Here's something else that you hit these goofy white supremacists with when they start that. It's the Jews. It's the Jews. We are the only people in this country with specific laws that were on the books in name called black codes to oppress us. Where are the Jew codes at? Huh? See, anything in this country that white supremacy deemed a threat, primarily us, they created doctrines and laws against it. Why you can't find that equivalent over here? Huh? You see what I'm saying? See, history is your friend. History is your friend. I'm saying that mainly to my young ones. That's how you shut that nonsense and that babble down that's coming out these clowns' mouth, because they're trying this every day with our young ones. You better be understanding that. They know that those of us like myself, Brother Tariq, and etc., they know that's not going to work with us, okay? Look, good fat chance in hell trying to get us to go along with that crap when we know what the truth is. So they're trying to aim that towards young people, okay? History is your friend. Make sure you're teaching your children proper, true black history, because they're taking it out of schools left and right.
Not,
Yes,
sir.
you are.
They're
You
white enough.
absolutely are.
They're white enough.
By deceiving them, by saying they're white enough.
They
These
are.
people,
White
if
enough.
you're a Christian in here, look up the verse Revelation 3:9. Behold, the
What is
synagogue
the
of Satan, which
No.
say they are Jews.
Sir,
Notice how that white supremacist tried to use that Bible scripture out of context too, okay? Because again, this was referring to the Jewish people at that time period when Jesus was alive, not Jewish people as a whole. See, this is why it pays to be well studied and well rounded on a number of different things, okay? And look, if you're a person that has expertise in one given field, always compare notes with other brothers and sisters, because none of us knows everything. I'm steady learning every day. A lot of you compliment those of us in New Black Media on how much we know. We learn from you as well. We're all in this thing together, okay? See, knowledge is a weapon. It's a shield and a sword, all right? And you refine that knowledge that you have amongst one another. When we get around each other on code, share that knowledge, refine it. If someone corrects you on something, accept the correction in grace and good faith. Take notes on it so that you can sharpen, because see, here's why I take that responsibility seriously. The more accurate information we have, the more we can pass that on to future generations. You understand? See, you think about all the people in the world, okay? Anywhere on this planet, that the only thing keeping them from either being in a bad situation that was life-threatening to the point that lives were lost. Think about if the only thing between them and that life-threatening event was accurate knowledge. You understand? So if you're a young black girl or a young black boy out there that is very smart, you're very well read, don't let anybody shame you for that. Your mind is the greatest weapon that you have, not just because of what it can do for you, but for what you can do for future generations and other people that you teach. So never be ashamed of your intelligence. Let's get back to it.
that's the problem that y'all have infighting among certain white supremacists within your community.
I'm a white separatist.
I know
I'm not
this.
a supremacist. I just want to be separate.
Same thing.
Well, you want to blend in with white people?
No, sir. I don't want to blend in with nobody. I'm fine. I don't have a problem.
Would you go back to Africa?
Sir, I'm not from Africa. I'm a foundational Black American. I built this land that you were able to come to, sir. I'm not from Africa. If it weren't for me, you would still be somewhere in Ireland, because I hear an Irish thing going on.
No, Scottish. Close enough.
Close enough. I can hear the potato famine in your voice.
Making fun of my genocide while I'm trying to educate you on yours. That's very, very kind of you.
Sir, you guys been trying to practice genocide on us for the last...
I don't care about black people. I
know,
care about my people existing, and I
know
care
you,
about exposing the Jewish enemy of mankind.
sir. Well, the thing is, that's a you problem. We have nothing to do with your
It's a
genetics.
Jew problem.
No, that's a you problem,
Jew
sir.
problem.
You take all your issues out on foundational Black Americans. We don't do anything
No,
to
my
it. That's
issue's
not
with the Jew, not with you. I already know that you guys, if we could weaponize the 15% that
no. It's
is responsible for 60% of all violent crimes and aim them at the right people, then maybe we could take this nation back.
sir. The violent crime is from you white supremacists. No
Oh
one
my
on
God.
No one in recorded history is more violent than a white
If
supremacist.
you got to keep coping, man. I
You
challenge you to come on my show and
you
I'm
guys commit genocides against millions of people. Nobody on this planet commits more violence than you white supremacists, sir. So let's not go there. All right.
would you debate Io Kamathi on my
Um,
show?
no, because
Why?
too many of us suspect that he is an agent. Okay.
Truth fears no
We only debate our equals. All others we teach.
investigation. Let's go.
No, I don't time waste for clicks and views. I don't do time wasting. I don't do that, sir.
You kind of remind me of like Reverend Sharp. You're kind of like a I don't know, kind of phony. You're not about the truth.
What's phony? Okay, tell me what's phony. What did I say that was phony on this call?
You're saying that Jews are white, which obviously they aren't. Why would they be trying to exterminate my race? You're denying that they own the slave ships. You're not letting me finish on the racial plan for the 20th century, which
Hold,
involves the clergy.
hold on, because why do so many people who are classified as Jewish classify themselves as white? Why are they racially white?
How come I can't get a citizenship in Israel if
Okay, let's try it again. Okay, Israel.
Ashkenazi is the genetic?
Hold on. Okay, let's go to Israel. Over in Israel, you say Jews this, Jews that. There are a lot of black Ethiopian Jews over
And
in
they
Israel.
sterilize them.
Right.
So
By who? By
the
who?
Jews,
But they're Jewish.
the Ethiopians are being sterilized by Ashkenazis, not Europeans.
Right. So what's the difference? They're sterilizing other Jews. And what's the difference?
So what's the difference between an African and a
Hold-
See how he pinned him into a corner, and notice the tactic that he went back to using, trying to answer a question with a question. See, I'm a lot more aggressive when it comes to that if I do choose to actually lower myself to hold a discussion with them, because that's how I see it. It's something. I don't like stooping to that level of like just vile, incompetent, and low intellectual ability. But if I ever decided to go down in the muck and actually talk to one of them, I would be stern with it. I would let that boy know. Boy, that's the term I would use, because intellectually they are boys compared to us. When I ask you a question, answer my damn question. Don't try to change my question. Okay, don't try to change the subject and deflect. Because see, again, this is a poor showing as far as just masculinity. You know what I'm saying? Let's take race out of it for a minute. Think about it. Ladies and gentlemen in here, is that a masculine quality? A man asks you a question and then you immediately start asking questions back instead of answering the question. That's pathetic. That's a vote of no confidence from me. If there's other men around me like that, I'm like, wait a minute now. Because that's implying that your brain does not work correctly. And if we're in a survival situation, if your brain does not work, then you're a liability to the rest of the group, okay? Look, it's one thing if you're a small child and you have yet to be learned in the world, but by the time you become a full-grown male, okay? A full-grown male, I'm saying male in his case, because man and woman is an earned honorable title. Both of them are. If you are without proper intelligence and you don't have any type of mental disability, this is a pathetic showing of masculinity and intellectual discourse right here as far as this white supremacist is concerned. Everything that Tariq is asking him has been with facts, dates, times, names, debunking his lies. What he does, he's sitting here trolling. And see, I guarantee you that he must be an incel, because, look, I'm just guessing that can't be attractive to his own women. Think about it, Becky. If you're listening to this, would you want this, what you're hearing here, this white supremacist going back and forth with Brother Tariq? Would you want that as the head of your household and the father of your children? I mean, look, I gotta laugh, man. I can't feel bad for y'all. That's the problem of y'all community. We just ask that you keep your trash over there in your trash can. Stop trying to dump your trash in our community. Let's get back to it.
Hold on. No. Because the black Jews are going over there getting sterilized by the white Jews.
Oh my goodness, this is such a cope, dude.
How is it a cope? Is that phone? Am I not telling the truth? You just admitted that.
Because you're saying that Europeans are Ashkenazi, and if I tried to get citizenship in Israel, they would deny me because they know the difference between a European and Ashkenazi, but you don't.
So the Ashkenazi Jews are white. Is that what you're saying?
Are Indians in India that own a lot of 7-Elevens? They're dark, but are they black? Are they African because they're dark? No,
sir.
You're gaslighting me, bro.
I'm not gaslighting you,
yes,
sir.
You are.
You're coping. No, they're Indian because they're from India. That's a difference.
Are you familiar with BlackRock?
Sir, are you familiar with deflecting? Because I asked you about the white Jews sterilizing the black Jews.
They're Ashkenazi Jews.
Meaning white.
And I'm not for any form of genocide, period.
All right. So you acknowledge there's a racial difference there. They're white.
No.
Then
is an Indian that lives in India that's dark black?
We're not talking about India.
But this is the same comparison.
Listen, what makes a person white genetically then? What makes them white?
I say they're European. Jews are Turkish, Asiatic.
Turkey,
they even have
Europe.
Oh my goodness. Asia. Are you from you're in denial.
It's in Europe. Turkey is in
what?
Europe.
Let me ask you a question. Would a black supremacist, if black supremacists were controlling?
Sir, do you acknowledge that the country of Turkey is on the European continent, sir?
Let's missing my point.
Now, I know that the American public food system, as I like to call it, is trash, but this is really bad on you alabastresses. This boy is sitting here trying to go back and forth with Tariq about Turkey being in Europe. And yes, I've been there. Very nice place, very nice people, but it's definitely in Europe, okay? And he started trying to bring up the black supremacist thing. See, I love when they try that crap. Well, there's a black supremacist. No, okay, well, show me anywhere on the planet, including the continent of Africa, all 54 nations, where black people have the power to do to you what you've done to us systematically. Show me that. Until you can show me that, there's no such thing as a black supremacist or black supremacy, because there cannot be two supremes, okay? See, this nonsense right here, man. Look, Brother Tariq has the patience of a saint, but I understand why he did that, and I'm glad that he let this clown speak, because, see, we need to break them down like this from time to time to show people how they operate, to show people how deceptive their forked tongues are, and to show people also that these are not old white supremacists. This is a young man talking to Tariq, okay? So that goes to show you that it's being passed down from generation to generation. Get back to it.
I'm saying Asia. You keep cutting me off. I said Asia.
You're not going to deflect because now we're just doing basic 5th grade geography. Are you going to acknowledge that Turkey,
Asiatic and Negro?
No, and sir, you're deflecting. Sir, see? Now you're being phony. Is Turkey in Europe?
Sure.
There you go. Well, don't.
Yes, but you're missing my point with the Asiatic and Negro.
You just.
Why do you think they have afros? Why do Jews have afros?
Okay. Okay. Sir, what Jews have afros, and why do they?
Turkey is on the border of West Asia, I might add as well. So it falls between Europe and West Asia.
Okay.
So okay, buddy. Nice try.
Argument that kills your Europe argument. What makes somebody white genetically?
You're missing the point of the mongrelization. Okay, Do you know what Mongolization means?
When did the pure Europeans become Mongolized?
The first beginning was when we came to America and we started Mongolizing with other Europeans, which was a bad mistake.
Okay. What made those Europeans white? The ones who were unmongolized. What made them white?
You keep asking me this redundant question. I'm saying if they
Because you
came from
won't
Europe.
answer. You won't tell me. You keep saying who ain't white, and you're not telling me what makes somebody genetically white.
If they're European, not Ashkenazi.
Okay, and Turkish people are European, and a lot of
they fall on the border of West Asia as well. So you keep. I said they're Asiatic, they're Negro, and they have European mix. Lenny Kravitz is a Jew.
Okay, and you said from Europe. If they're Europe, they're white.
Yes,
because the Greeks weren't considered white until the 1920s. That's Europe.
I disagree with I disagree with how history labels some things.
Oh,
Not all
Lord.
history is correct.
Italians weren't considered white until the 20th century. They were called Guineas. A Guinea is an African. That's a term, a name for Africans.
Oh, are you trying to bring in the Moors right now?
No, I'm talking about the white supremacists here in America. I can go
But
into
there's
more.
you would say when you say supremacy, you would have to show that whites would be dominating,
Sir,
and I'm proving you that they're not.
Sir, you guys called Italians Guineas.
We called Irish people mix.
Right.
Like, who cares?
Irish people weren't even considered white for a long time. So the white thing, you're not really, the math ain't mathing, sir.
White people have a problem with getting along, just like black people do sometimes. You don't. What is going on in Chicago?
Okay, no,
is it white supremacy?
Don't.
Oh boy, see, at this point, the white supremacists should have just threw in the towel, the little neo-Nazi cornball. Do you know that Chicago isn't even the most violent city in America? See, if they had any sense, they would stop using the outdated Chicago talking point. At one time it was, but if you look at Memphis, Tennessee, shout out to the brothers and sisters in Memphis, I love you, but we're talking about facts and numbers. Memphis would be the most violent city in America, okay? And see, you gotta, look, if you're going to use your propaganda and your talking points, at least try to argue with some actual solid facts. The Chicago thing is played out. But see, I'm going to tell you why they don't update the talking point. And this goes back to Lee Atwater's Southern Strategy method, okay, where he had to codify certain things instead of just saying nigga. Certain things like Chicago and all that, those are terms like today woke. That means black, okay? This is how they communicate to each other without saying the N-word or whatever. Hey, it's no, when we say Chicago, black people, okay? Update that stupid talking point. You would come out better trying to exchange that for Memphis, because by the numbers, that's what we're looking at now as far as the most violent city in America, okay? So, I mean, it's just pathetic, man. I mean, look, at this point, Tariq is basically, shaking his ass like a rag doll, like a pit bull with a damn doll in his mouth, man. It's sad and pathetic. And see, to you rest of you white supremacists, the smarter ones, the ones like the Jared Taylors and the Richard Spencers, they despise guys like this. Because see, at a certain point, if you're not well studied, if you're not well prepared when you're going up against other intelligent black people, they'd rather for you to keep your mouth shut. You know why? Because you've given me ammunition and a teaching tool to educate my people on the weaknesses in your flawed logic. So the smart ones try to tell the stupid ones, hey, if you're not well versed on how to do this, just be quiet. Leave it to us, or come get some training from us on how to do this. You going up against black people over here, not just Brother Tariq, but most people in the chat. If they would have came up and spoke on the stage, they could handle him just like that, man. So, I mean, look, boy, I tell you, man, look, I'm glad they have their morons speaking, because that's better for us to, decipher their actual, mindset when it comes to these types of things, but it's not good for their side. Let's get back to it.
That's so cheap. Don't do the what about Chicago. Shout out to my dude, Mikhail, who said the Turks came from Central Europe. Dude, come on now.
I'm telling you, you're telling me white supremacy is what's killing people in Chicago, black community?
We're not talking about Chicago. That's your go-to deflection. Chicago has nothing to do with this conversation.
It sure does. That's a
Now,
genocide of your own people.
you white supremacists, that's your go back. Y'all, that's like a rattler and a pacifier. You got to go back to Chicago. That's
Trying to
just a
talk
weak
about the
talking
Jew,
point.
and here you are trying to
That's a
entrap
nothing.
me against a white.
That's a nothing burger talking point. We're talking about what makes people white genetically, and you're talking about what about black on black crime in Chicago. That's the go-to jibe ass deflection point. That's why black people lessen. That's always a bad faith argument. I want black folks to learn lessons here. Whenever the white supremacists start bringing up Chicago, don't even get into it. It's always in bad faith. It's always, always, always used as a deflection. Black people got this thing where they let them throw that deflection out there. Then you start talking about some damn Chicago. They don't give a damn about Chicago. That's a deflection. It's a go-to deflection for every argument. It's a one-size-fit-all deflection.
And I'll tell you something else that you do too with the coons and the Sambos that try to use the Chicago talking point. Because, I shut Larry Elder down on this years ago. Because, that little Oompa Loompa, Mr. Potato Head looking bastard. Don't that boy look like a chicken nigga with eyes, on the top of his head? That's what his head like, a damn chicken nigga with eyes in the mouth. I shut his ass down with this. I asked him, I said, listen, man, okay, Chicago is so bad. What are you planning to do about it? Have you done anything about it? Have you gone there and worked alongside people like Minister Louis Farrakhan to do work in the community? Because there's brothers and sisters up there, shout out to my good brother Tyrone Muhammad, that are doing work every day as far as like the aspect of the black violence that goes on up there in Chicago. But see, here's something else that you throw at them. Besides asking the coons and Sambos, what are you doing about it? Because see, the definition of a coon is somebody that has more criticism for things in the community, but they don't do anything to solve the problems. This is what you throw at them also. The violence in places like Chicago or any city in America, it's not just black people committing the violence. White people commit just as much violence up there in Chicago, okay? See, they don't want to look, I may have to take the time to do a whole broadcast on that Chicago thing, get some brothers and sisters on here and break that thing down because it's so outdated. Once you really start to look at things by actual numbers and what's actually going on today, it all falls apart, okay? But again, we know that's a code word for black people. But it's just pathetic. Like I said, this boy at this point, if he was smart, he would have tapped out and just dipped a long time ago. But hey, they never have known in history when to quit. That's what's gotten them into a lot of situations that they're in right now.
Are you a supporter of Black Lives Matter?
I'm a supporter of what makes white genetics matter, and you won't explain what it is, sir.
Well, I mean, you keep getting stuck on this because we're just going to keep going.
Because you keep saying who isn't white, but you can't tell me who is and what makes them white.
I'm telling you, if you're from Europe, you're white. And if you look at, it's really simple. It's really simple. If you look at where
so many Europeans were not considered white, all over Europe, they were not considered white. White is a conditional term that they pick and choose who they're going to allow into it. Right?
I politely would like to move on to a different subject.
No, because you pick and choose who you're going to allow into whiteness. So it's not about genetics. At some point, you let the Irish be white, which they weren't at one point. At another
we didn't
point,
identify by colors back then. Openly.
But over here, the Italians, you let them into whiteness eventually. The Greeks, you allow them into whiteness.
Whiteness is a trap, and so is blackness.
That's always been a constant. The blackness has always been a constant, but the whiteness, you kind of pick and choose who you're going to let be white.
That wasn't my choice. I'm just telling you, if we're identifying by colors, it's stupid.
But the thing is, you are white supremacist, or
I'm a European separatist.
Right, same thing. So you identify. No, you can't be a European separatist because you're not in Europe. You're over here.
I would happily go back to Europe if it wasn't flooded with third worlders.
Sir, you would not go back to Europe because it's
absolutely.
Your European homeland. Scotland is a slum, basically.
Oh, you want to talk about slums? How about we talk about the Jews dominating Africa's?
Oh man, see, here he goes with that separatist talk. The only thing that separated his brain from the rest of his doggone body. But see, that whole, well, we would absolutely go back to Europe. No, you wouldn't. And I'm gonna tell you how I know that for a fact. See, for those of you that haven't traveled, right now in South Africa, the white people that are over there, they're called Boers, okay? They're from the Netherlands. Do you know that their own people in the Netherlands don't want them back? See, they hate our South African brothers and sisters so much over there, but they don't want to go back to where they're from. Now, why is that? Because they know that when they're just around each other and there's no black people to oppress, they cannibalize each other in a number of different ways, okay? See, to be honest with you, you look at these little white enclaves over here in America, all right? Do you know how much meth is running through there? All the crime that they always talking about that's only covered on the news. So that's why it makes it look like that we do so much more crime than everybody else, which we don't. They don't put all the white crime on the news like that. They put that on like the last stories or like news articles if they cover it at all. Okay. And the only way they really mention it is like if one of those damn meth labs blows up or they find them over there. They steady doing things to kids because we see, according to the FBI, who has the highest statistics of molesting children. It ain't got nothing to do with black people. Alabaster men, okay? All these different crimes they got going on in their communities, all right? They don't want to report on that like that because that would make them look like the actual problems and threat to society that they actually are. But yet you have to cast that over here to black people, all right? And see, the insanity about it is they'll keep looking at us as if we're the main cause of the problems. And right now, what we got going on in this country, I've showed you several times on the channel. We got illegal aliens flooding this country, man, in waves like a damn invasion. Instead of, look, ask yourself this question. Why they focus on black people? All these so-called white supremacist militia groups, where they at? Why ain't they down there at the border protecting the country? Huh? Why ain't you doing that? Why don't you all get together and go down there and, hey, do something? See? But nope. They always got to keep focus on us. All right. So I'm just, I'm showing you how pathetic this is because, see, this guy right here, man, whatever his name is, okay, he's one of the main problems in their community. The dumbasses like this. And look, their own people know who the dumbasses are, okay? The Richard Spencer and the Jared Taylors, they'll use these people to do things for them and have them commit crimes and get locked up. But they don't want anything to do with them, really. They look at them as cannon fodder. His dumb ass can't see that, okay? So it's just pathetic. Like I said, if this was a society where your merit would be given to you as far as like your status and leadership in the society based on your intelligence, this guy would be sweeping a floor some damn where. That's what he would be. Let's get back to it.
Diamond trade. Let's talk about the Jews in the
I
diamond
don't live
trade.
in Sir, talk to an African about that. I'm a foundation of Black Americans, sir.
You're in denial of your own history. You seem
No,
like
I'm not.
you're like, yeah, you don't seem like proud of your like African heritage at all. You just think that you're like an American. What's an idea of an American?
What African heritage? What are you talking about?
You came from Africa.
You did too.
Oh see, this is where you want to go every time.
You did too. You did too. Yeah. There were black people going up there. They still got the remnants of the black people coming from Africa up there. They call them gypsies up there in Scotland and Ireland. There's a reason why they got them big, thick Afro-ass beards up there in Scotland. Take a good look at a Scottish person over in your homeland. Look at them big, thick, nappy beards. You better take a good look at them, sir. The Grimaldi people were up there in Scotland and Ireland, and these were black-skinned people up there initially. Go get a book by David McRitchie. Ancient and Modern Britain. This is a white man in the 1800s wrote a book telling the truth about the black people who were up there in Ireland and Scotland.
That's an excellent book to have in your personal library. I have it myself. You want to get some truth, and that, along with the work of Alexander von Wuthenau, white men, like I said at the time, before they stopped white people from telling the truth about that, get those books. See, this is why we always try to stay throwing books at you all so that you can get this knowledge for yourselves, okay? See, we tell you all the time over here, the code is the leader, not us. We want to enlighten and bring our people up to speed on as much as possible because, see, the more of us that understand the truth about history and the more of us that can operate in an empowered state in present day, okay? So please do go get that book that Brother Tariq mentioned. I have it myself on my shelf. Let it continue.
Was populated by black people initially.
And how would that happen if you guys can't even build a boat?
Sir, if you don't stop.
I'm just saying, what boats
Sir,
did you build?
No. Stop it. Are you saying? Listen.
I'm saying you lived in mud huts.
Listen. Stop it, sir.
It's the truth,
sir.
Why would okay?
Sir.
I'm just being honest. The IQ. You want to bring up IQ? The average IQ of a sub-Saharan?
Sir,
it's considered retarded in most European countries.
Sir, then why was the first university one of the biggest ones in West Africa, Timbuktu? Why was that there? One of the biggest universities in the world at the time, in the medieval times. Why was it in West Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, sir?
I don't know. Maybe it was like a diversity hire thing. I have no idea.
Who are they going to be diversity hiring, sir?
I don't know. Maybe the evil whites that were going to colonize South Africa.
And why did black people from West Africa go up into Europe? They were the Moors, and build up Europe, sir.
Why do we still give you money,
sir,
in Africa? Why do you guys leave Africa to come to Europe?
No, because you're going to talk about some damn mud huts, and it was black people.
Well, you come to European countries because you're...
No, because in the Dark Ages, the mud huts were you guys. Y'all were living in filth.
Give me a break.
You're
so full of it, Tariq. Come on my show, buddy.
Dude.
Come on my show.
Dude, in the Middle Ages, your people almost died up there in Europe, dude. All them plagues were taking you out.
Done by Jews, just like COVID. Done by Jews, just like COVID.
Dude, also the Moors, the Jews created the famines and the plagues.
Learn your history. Yep, they openly say that they were accused of it, and the way they didn't get the disease, the Black Plague, is because they washed their hands. Just like everyone has to wear a mask. You wear your yarmulke on your face. That's the symbol.
That makes no sense.
Six-sided star of Rembrandt. Six-day War of Israel.
Okay, so you're blaming the
Jews. Gas chambers. Look at the patterns here. 666, Synagogue of Satan.
This is just white supremacist babble. So
I want y'all to do something for me, okay? Because see, when you do this, a lot of y'all are probably going to come back laughing in the comment section when you see it. I'm going to give y'all a little homework assignment, man. If you want to see something really funny, go back and compare what cities look like back in like ancient Africa, okay? Whether it was Egypt or anyone that you want to name, okay? And we all know the story of Mansa Musa, richest man to ever live on earth, okay? Already see how that history went. Go back and look at the cities over there at that time period, because they have depictions of these things. And then go compare and contrast that to what was Europe at the same time, okay? Start around about, 15th century, things like that. Just start going back and looking at the comparisons. And when you see the stark and marked difference, you're going to bust out laughing, because the architecture difference is vast, okay? Why do you think they're still trying to figure out how the pyramids were built over there, okay? Huh? And they'll tell you, well, it wasn't black people. It was aliens. It was anything. One-horn, purple-eyed people eaters, anything to keep from giving black folks credit for having ingenuity and intelligence that they don't have. Because, see, they better not try to claim that they built them, because why don't you have any pyramids in Europe? Huh, white supremacists? See, listen, man. I'm telling you, go look up what I just said. After this broadcast is over, when you start to see the differences, y'all it's gonna crack you up, man. It's funny, man. See, history it's their kryptonite, man. They have to make up lies and try to project themselves as these great, intelligent people. But see, all you have to do, even if you don't know history, if you're so intelligent and so great, and intelligent people can build things on their own. They can create things on their own. They don't have to go around the world stealing from people. Hey, it's as simple as that. Debunk that so-called high IQ. It's a high IQ. Let's get back to it.
Yes, it was black people with those low IQs up there saving you, bringing in modern technology. So you thank the Moors. You got to pop your collar to them, sir. Okay?
All right. Well, listen, I'm trying to wake up everyone here. I really don't want to fight with black people. I want to educate people on gtvflyers.com.
Yeah, right.
Communism was created by Jews. That's what they're trying to bring in here.
And
communism.
White supremacy was created by white supremacists, sir.
What is white supremacy dominating right now? The media? Because I could tell you not one white person who owns a media outlet.
Dominating black people and all non-white people. That's what it's dominating.
Who owns BET?
Well, white people.
No, a Jew.
No, the white supremacists own that too. They own all of that stuff, sir.
You're absolutely lying to your audience. How many
I'm
people
not,
are here
sir.
lying? How many people are you lying to right now?
Sir, and your people, they classify themselves as white. They look white, and they're white enough to practice white supremacy, and that's the problem.
Why do Jewish people openly say that they're going to annihilate white people?
Why do white people openly try to annihilate Jewish people who are practicing white supremacy? They actually have a Holocaust. The white supremacists.
You're gaslighting me.
I'm not gaslighting anything. They had an open genocide. They actually tried to genocide people. They actually did it.
You believe in the Holocaust. I guarantee you.
I don't sit up here.
Okay, wooden doors and windows and a gas chamber. That's really good German design.
Sir, I believe they did it because the white supremacists were trying to do the same thing to us over here too. So yes.
Red Cross said 274,000 Jews died, and there's no proof of. And Zyklon B, if you guys want to listen to something, Zyklon B, if you were to poison someone, Jews claim that that their bodies were blue. Well, if you look up any sort of poisoning with gas, the bodies turn bright pink.
Okay, this is white supremacist babble. So
no, it's not. Facts aren't white supremacy. Stop being.
As a foundational Black American, we've seen what the white supremacists are capable of. We've lived it. We've seen the torture and the mayhem that they would cause on people. We've dealt with it, sir, firsthand. So,
Tariq, you're a race hustler. You're a divider, a gatekeeper.
Yes, I am. I'm a race baiter. I bait you, white supremacists, and
no,
yes,
you're
I
a
do.
Gatekeeper, a race hustler.
No. That would be you, sir. You have to.
No, I actually want us to unite and kick.
No, you don't. You don't want us to unite, sir. You just said you don't want anything to do with Black people. You contradict yourself, sir. You white supremacists are very good at doublespeak. You've said many times you don't want anything to do with Black people, and you want to preserve your Scottish genetics. And that's the you problem, sir.
You're good at hitting mute, Tariq, when I'm about to get a point across.
No, because you're not going to babble. I don't want you to babble. I want to get my point across. Because white supremacists, y'all tend to babble a lot. Y'all do that.
Well, it's interesting that you don't want to come on my show and debate this. It's interesting that you denounce a Black man named.
Not going on your show. I don't go on white supremacist platforms to give you clout. You're not going to get clout off of our community. You've done enough of that during slavery. We're not letting that happen. We're tired of feeding you white supremacists. Y'all try to eat off us all the time. No, find your own way.
Are you familiar with Dame Dash and Jay-Z, their relationship? You ever wonder how that broke up? Who broke that up? Was it white supremacists or Jewish supremacists?
It doesn't matter.
Leor Cohen, was he Jewish or was he European?
He classifies himself as white, so there's a
yeah. Leor Cohen sounds really European.
Yes, indeed, sir. But anyway, thank you so much, my friend. But
GTV.
I don't want to hear white supremacist babble. All right, just letting y'all see how you deal with the white supremacists. They do a lot of babbling, and everything is all about deflecting. It's not us, it's the Jews. What about black on black crime in Chicago? Yeah. Typical deflection.
And there you have it, family. Brother Tariq cleaned him up, chopped him up, sauteed him, fried him, broiled him, and sent his ass packing. And see, that's how you are able to handle them when you're well studied on history and how it correlates to present day. And see, I'm going to point something else out to you as we close the broadcast here tonight. The other reason why they come into our spaces like that, especially those like Brother Tariq that are very educated, well-spoken on our affairs and geopolitics and things of the like, you have to understand they have a sick fascination with what they can never be, okay? See, think back into the earlier part of the broadcast where I told you about, listen, the reason why they have so many drugs is because they wake up and they know that they're intellectually inferior, okay? You have the weakest immune system on the planet. Everything is working against you to the point that you have to fabricate things. So when you see Black people that are not sitting up here having to fabricate things that actually have real and true history that we can look back and reference, you want to idolize and become that. And see, here's why that's dangerous. You think about somebody that becomes obsessed with you. A stalker eventually trying to pretend to be someone, that's not good enough. they have to try to replace you by bringing harm to you. Look at what happened to the Latina singer Selena, okay? And many other cases like that. So this is why we must always take them for the deadly threat that they are. A lot of that goofy trolling, remember, the Klan started out as a joke. Jim Crow started out as a joke. Anytime they're amongst me with the so-called joking and the trolling, I'm looking at them as like, okay, I'm looking at you to make sure that if you cross a certain point, that I'm able to neutralize that threat. You start by making sure that your mind is sharp and intelligent. And if need be in the physical, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. With that said, salute to everybody that contributed to the broadcast. Thank you very much for that. And like I said, if you're not over there on Patreon, you might want to join us because we're going to have a special treat for you before the year is out. And it's going to be useful to every Black person. It's something that I want all of you to start becoming adept at, knowing how to set up and structure one. Okay, a lot of you probably already know what I'm talking about, but that's going to be coming up very soon. So as we close out here, I want you to take care of yourselves. Thank you very much for choosing to come over here and review this with us tonight. Black first, salute, and I will see you all in future content.
It's the 50th anniversary of hip-hop, and we still have a lot of discrepancies as far as the origins of hip-hop, a lot of claims, who did what, who was the first this, who was the this and that, and such. But at the end of the day, we need a definitive story, all right? And that story can only be told by the founders of this culture.
Like everything was being driven and influenced by young, Black, American culture. Like the slang, the style of dress, the initial music that we chose.
You look at all the boroughs, you got, Money Making Manhattan and Money Earning Mount Vernon and Crooklyn. The Bronx was the boogie down Bronx. We was partying up there.
I am Coke LaRock, the first MC of hip hop. First cat to pick the mic up.
I introduced rapping to the turntable because when I came with it, nobody in the world was doing it. I'm right after Rudy Ray Moore.
They want to come in the mix, they want to say, we started. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. What came to be known as hip hop was solely an African-American creation.
What would you get out of some Jamaican toast? What is that? I've never heard of a rapper use a Jamaican toast or a Jamaican fleur as a rhyme. I never heard of it, and I don't know where that myth came from.
My name is legendary King Trixie from the Bronx, BX from the West Side. I am the first breakdancer.
That narrative that hip-hop has had 3 founding fathers, that's been rolling for the last almost 30 years, which isn't true. You don't have just 3 people who created hip-hop. Hip-hop was created by a number of different people.
I am the grandfather, the godfather of the graffiti culture. I am the first element of hip-hop.
The roots of hip-hop being Jamaican, absolutely false.
My name is MC Sha-Rock. I am a founding member of the MC/rap culture.
Cassette tapes was the internet of our time. It just traveled around by hand.
I know for a fact that the B-boy stand started from the gods, the 5%ers that would be at the jams back in the days who were acting as security.
If they get the real truth of how it all was created, then so many lies would not be able to be in existence.
When we talk about hip hop and what it is, it's an extension of the music and the instrumentation that our forefathers created.
Check out the live stream premiere of the documentary short, It's Bigger Than Hip Hop, The Black American Family Tree, and Q&A, a fundraiser to create a series detailing music's evolution. Go to dewanb.com for streaming passes and crowdfunding.